that probe. The Fed has to take a vote that got tougher after the failure of two U.S. banks, raising concern about the banking system as the central bank tries to keep fighting inflation. The latest rate hike decision due an hour from now. One West Coast bank says it's taking proactive steps to boost its liquidity.
PacWest Bancorp says it has decided not to raise additional capital after receiving money from a private backer and federal loans. PacWest says it has borrowed from the federal government and received a $1.4 billion injection from Atlas Partners.
Fox's Ginny Cosola. The Norfolk Southern.
Oh, hello there. Hi. Hi, I'm here. It's pre-show. Welcome to it. I don't know why I'm singing these lines. I'm sorry.
Ryan, you're a radio professional and you sound uncomfortable.
I'm
uncomfortable.
And
I am a radio professional.
But that's his job, is to make you.
That's true. Is that actually in your contract here?
Yeah.
It's like the first item.
Yeah. Can you try to not to make people so uncomfortable?
No, I thought it was
to make people uncomfortable.
Such a great job.
Well, on air and off air, different things. I don't know which one is which. I am here to tell you about the show today, though. That is why I'm here. And I'm not going to sing it. I'm going to talk it, because that's what I do. First, in not this segment, but the next, Andrew McCarthy. Andy McCarthy. Andy. Either way, it's the same guy. I'm going to give you a little behind the scenes. Brad has worked very hard to get that interview. And he's done a great job because he has been relentless, and they are talking to Andrew McCarthy today, who knows as much about this as anybody does with the Trump stuff.
He's part of the Southern District of New York. So.
Former Chief Assistant U.S. Attorney. So that'll be great. Other than that, so I've got some stuff in Wiggins America that I'm looking forward to bringing because it's just Illinois stuff it's actually enjoyable. It's popcorn stuff. We get to sit on the sidelines and watch this one. It's fun. That's my segment, though. At 107, Deroy Murdock, who you know very well. And then Bobby Burack, who was scheduled for the show, I think, last week. And then we had a live, I can't remember what the press briefing was.
Defense briefing.
On?
Not Millie.
On Ukraine?
Pentagon and the State Department gave that press conference at that time.
Yeah. So we had to bump him and had him back now. So give him a full segment from Outkick.
He's going to talk about the end of woke culture, basically.
Did you see Amanda's comment here?
My ad to get on the live today was a White Claw ad. No way. Really? I wonder if they're listening. The robots. I mean,
They 1,000% are.
Isn't that their only job? To listen?
I think all the robots do is listen and then suggest products to you. So let us know if you buy one. I'm not going to say, shoot, I already said it. Now it's going to have more. There's going to be White Claw everywhere now that I'm saying it over and over. I'm going to try to talk in code so that doesn't happen in the future.
You can't do that. We have to understand what you're saying.
Ooh. Is there a way for me to do product placement by saying it here, though, I'm thinking? Like uncomfortable products for everybody who's watching. I don't know what those are, though. I guess
we can talk about the YouTube poll.
I guess
Stop
it depends.
About White Claws and trying to beat the algorithm and the robots.
Hannah's missing. She usually does this part. She usually would come to you right now and say,
here.
She's
working feverishly. Ryan is standing around doing nothing.
Yeah.
So
she's right out there.
Ryan's standing around fumbling over his words.
I'm looking out the door going, Hannah, save me,
well,
and she's
good
not
news,
there.
Ryan, I'm done doing what I'm doing, so I can help you out here.
Right.
The
Thank you.
poll of the day is
if
you had to pick, are you on Team Trump or Team DeSantis?
If you had to pick, because our whole thing on the show is you don't have to pick.
Right.
Not yet.
Except for right now. When
Correct.
you do this poll, you have to pick.
This isn't your actual vote.
Now maybe eventually you will have to pick. That's why this poll is interesting. And by the time it gets to, just like in 2016, like by the time it got to Illinois, for us anyway, it was pretty much Ted Cruz or Donald Trump, because those were the only two that had a chance to win. And this time, we may be in that same situation where it might just be those two.
Not yet. Hannah's been in the meeting, so I might have to pull.
So we're forcing you to make that decision ahead of time. You don't have to actually make it yet other than today. And we don't have to know who you are. It's an anonymous poll. We just want to know overall.
Hey, you want to ask people what kind of backgrounds they like? Do they like the black background?
Ooh. Do you like the black background? I'm wondering. Nobody said this. I am wondering. I like that one. Oh, it's a golf course. I like the green and the blue. It's pretty. That was fine. Ooh, that one's a little party. Saved by the Bell. Don't know what that is. Looks like a comedian background. Yeah. Now that's radio. And it's the celebration one. It's not even Friday. I like the golf course. Can we do golf course?
That's only there from last May when we did the St. Clair County Golf.
Oh.
The ice from the
We sticking with this one?
Oh,
Show.
Get back on the thing, the board line. There we go. Bye.
But just taking the temperature, a very, very scientific poll of the Annie Frey Show audience, specifically on YouTube on Wednesday afternoons. It's all the parameters. Are you Team Trump or are you Team DeSantis? If you had to pick. And the addendum that's not on the poll is you don't really have to, just for the sake of this conversation. Brad, do you have an obvious answer to this or only if compelled?
I do have an obvious answer for this, but like I said, I'm still a free agent.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to hear other people out. And I said this yesterday that there are some other candidates that have kind of perked my ears. I'm going, okay, what you got? But right now, as we speak, I'm Team DeSantis.
Team DeSantis. Now, I am watching, so Piers Morgan, I haven't watched it yet. I think it's on Fox Nation. Piers Morgan's stuff is on Fox Nation. And I've seen a clip, I've read articles reporting about the sit-down that Ron DeSantis had with Piers Morgan. And the thing that really strikes me is how Ron DeSantis has decided to step up and defend himself and maybe kind of swat his hand away to be like, listen, knock it off.
Yeah.
Team Trump doesn't like that.
No.
Team Trump has been spitting and punching and slapping and pinching and tweaking over and over and over again. And months and months and months later, Ron DeSantis is like, knock it off, dudes. And they're like, oh, he's not MAGA. He's anti-Trump, never Trump. And I'm like, really? And it's interesting to me to think about how Donald Trump won the 2016 election when he was not a known quantity by punching everybody square in the face, not fighting the way Republicans usually fight, which is like over tea. He would just say, all right, let's go. I had a teacher in high school who said, you never wrestle with a pig, you both get dirty and the pig likes it. Now, Donald Trump would be the pig in this instance, but that is what caused Donald Trump to win in 2016. Why? Because once the Republican Party said, all right, Donald Trump, go do your thing, he did to Hillary Clinton what Hillary Clinton had been doing to everybody, and the Democrat Party had been doing to everybody all the time. You pick fights, you hurl insults, you name call, you try to disintegrate the integrity of the person who your opponent is. This is what the Democrats' playbook has always been. You put the Republican Party back on their heels. You make them be super defensive about things that are never been accurate. And then you sit there and you just defend instead of offend. And Donald Trump said, hey, I can do this. I can offend. And he did. And he went on a stage and he called her a nasty woman. And then Hillary Clinton did what she did. She printed shirts that said nasty woman. Mm-hmm. And so did all of her supporters. Nasty women everywhere. And I'm sitting here going, I am not a nasty woman, nor would I like to be referred to as a nasty woman. Weird thing to embrace, but I digress. She calls all of the Trump supporters deplorables. So they did what the Democrats did, and they printed shirts that said deplorables. Mm-hmm. So the election turned into the nasty women versus the deplorables, and the deplorables won. And the country was better for it. I mean, that's the end of that story. Yeah. The country was better for it. If you would take away the never wrestle with a pig because you both get dirty and the pig likes it, Marco Rubio's problem in the 2016 primary, he couldn't fight the way that Donald Trump was willing to fight. As soon as Donald Trump was able to get Marco Rubio in the mud pit, then you're fighting on Donald Trump's terms and turf. And Donald Trump wins on that turf. The question is, when you put the heavyweights in there, Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, those are both pigs that like to wrestle in the mud and enjoy the process. Donald Trump won out. I believe that Donald Trump won out because they were both of the ilk of morals stripped away. You can't look at Hillary Clinton and be like, wow, she is so righteous. That's not part of the conversation. All of that was taken away. The obvious attacks from the left on the right of they think that they're better than you. They want to force their Jesus on you, and they want to make you have to live to their standards. But wait, there's more. They haven't lived up to their own standards. Donald Trump was paying porn stars through NDAs, totally legal. He was talking with Billy Bush about what he's allowed to do when he's around women. He was hosting beauty pageants. He was the guy that everybody in the rap and hip hop genre wanted to be. Just ask them. It's on tape. Donald Trump was the man. He just wasn't the Republican that everybody had known up until then. And he won out. The Democrats could not understand how the Republican voters were so willing to accept a flawed individual who was willing to fight for them. The Democrats did not understand nor predict the idea that the lies that would be shoveled and heaped upon the American people from the left about what they were going to do if they were given this power, what Donald Trump was going to do if he was given this power. The Democrats were shocked, utterly shocked, to find out that there was some substance to what Donald Trump was pitching that America liked. And they never, ever, ever got over it. Donald Trump is being pursued right now for criminal charges in Manhattan in the flimsiest, weakest, lamest pursuit of, air quotes, justice that New York could manufacture. Donald Trump, this is ironic. Remember when Donald Trump said he could shoot somebody in Times Square? What was the culmination of that? And he wouldn't lose any supporters or something to that effect?
Yeah, he could. I think it was he could shoot somebody in broad daylight on, what did he say, Times Square or Fifth Avenue or something like that? Big New York location, and he wouldn't lose any supporters.
Donald Trump said he could shoot somebody in Times Square and he wouldn't lose any supporters. The irony of this is that if he were to shoot somebody in Times Square, he wouldn't probably even be prosecuted for it. But this, the New York folks have a problem with. This is the issue, that the crime that New York is interested in pursuing with your tax dollars in the state of New York. This is where they see the problem. They don't give a crap about the people who work in that city, who live in that city, who abide in that city, who visit that city, who tour that city. They don't care about any of that. They only care about their political gain. So much so that they're willing to go through this entire process in an 80% Democrat voter, anti-Trump area, where they can go through this in an unwinnable case. They're willing to hang this all out on the line because the political capital that they will acquire in this process is worth the humiliation that they will endure when this trial goes absolutely nowhere and Donald Trump wins in his defense. Everybody who's spending all of this time pulling their hair out going, oh, this isn't a winnable trial. Why is he doing this? Donald Trump is innocent. This is not the same. This is not, no one is above the law. No one is under the law. I've said all these things myself. The whole point of this, the whole intention of this is the fact that we are 594 days away from a presidential election. And it's looking a lot like Donald Trump might be that candidate once again. And every single avenue has to be on the table to stop that. So if you go through this process, what's the best you can get out of it? A mugshot, a perp walk, the idea that he was actually charged with the crime. Listen, they keep telling us twice impeached. Yeah, but it went to the Senate and he wasn't convicted of those things in the Senate. And you can go back and look at both impeachments. They were both bologna sausage. They were both full of crap. It was another partisan witch hunt. They've all been partisan witch hunts all of the time, and the money and the effort and the resources that the left has put up against Donald Trump. They've got nothing to show for it. And if you think at the end of this process, this grand jury, the potential of the indictment that is coming down, they've been told to go home today and to be on standby tomorrow. If you think that all of this is about putting Donald Trump in an orange jumpsuit, they know that's not going to happen. They're not stupid. They've weighed their options. They understand that the value of the mugshot and of him being charged with another crime in political commercials, in social media, that image to them is priceless. And we've seen them have low to no standards about a whole host of other things. This is gold in their hands. Of course they're going to go for it. It's worth a shot for them. Alvin Bragg is doing yeoman's work for the Democratic Party. I don't even think they believe it's for the country. I don't believe any of these people when they say that they're fighting against Trump for the country. It's personal to them. They want to see Donald Trump go down because they still can't get over the fact that in 2016, the woman who was heir to the throne had it stolen from her by a pig who liked to get dirty just like she did, who didn't mind the wrestle, who was willing to step aside from all of the pot shots that are traditionally lobbed at Republicans. These people on their high horse, on their pedestal, lift them up higher and higher because they fall farther and further. That's the Democrat MO. The irony of all of this is that Donald Trump is using that same playbook against Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSanctimonious Lift him up as high as you possibly can just to make sure when he comes crashing down, that's the end. It's not a fair fight. It's not being done because there's it's not being done in this primary process between Trump and DeSantis because one has better policies than the other. Ron DeSantis isn't even in the race yet. This is just the way political fights are won in this country right now until the game is changed again. In 2016, the rules of engagement shifted 180 degrees. Can they shift again? They can. But it'll take the right man, the right woman at the right time with the conviction to win in a different way and to lose in a different way. Fully committed to how they compete on their field, and then they'll have to capture it from the way it is right now. And if they can't win playing the game the way they intend to play it, they will lose playing the game the way Trump controls the battlefield. At the end of the day, Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis would both dramatically, immediately take this country in the direction of prosperity, of America first, of success. Immediately, both of those men would do wonders for this country. Eventually, we'll have to pick. Assuming Ron DeSantis gets in the race. It'll be hilarious to me if he doesn't. Assuming Ron DeSantis gets in the race, today we're asking you, it's anonymous. We never know who votes what. So you're not like being recorded, at least not by us. YouTube, probably. If you had to pick, are you Team Trump or Team DeSantis? Go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and give us your vote. Leave us your comment if you so choose. And I think we're going to probably have to feature these comments throughout the show because we are getting a few of them. Hannah is out there watching them come in, and we want your participation. We love hearing from you. Come say hello. Say hi to Hannah. She's waiting to say hi back to you. We're going to have Andy McCarthy on the show when we come back to discuss exactly what's going on with this grand jury, the Trump indictment, and everything to come. Andy McCarthy in a minute.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Stewart's American Mortgage is where you can access the bagel loan. When you are purchasing a home, the bagel loan is going to thrust you to the front of the pack with that competitive offer. Here's how the bagel loan works. You call or text Stewie right now or at your earliest convenience. Just jot this phone number down or stick it in your phone for when it's convenient for you to text or call. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. And he's going to be there to respond and walk you through the process to show you exactly how the bagel loan, which is the best deal in town, is going to get you in the most competitive position to get that house. You don't pay any closing costs with the bagel loan. They don't exist. You're going to save thousands of dollars doing this. You can roll that money into your offer. You can put it in the savings account. You can maybe repair the windows in the house with it. Stewie can help you through this process. You do business with Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage, and you will be in the very best hands. Call 314-324-4440 and get the conversation started today. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
With the Wholesale Formula Seminar, discover how to start your own Amazon business.
Hi, Ian Bauer. My first year averaged $45,000 a month in sales. Now I'm at $90,000 a month and hardly working.
Hi, I'm Amy Sherlock. I attended the Wholesale Formula Seminar, and I'm now doing $175,000 in sales per month.
Hey everyone, Ryan and Karen Pottinger here.
Because of the Wholesale Formula, last year we ran our business while we traveled to and lived in 4 different countries.
Hey, I'm Rick Manello. 2 years after attending the Wholesale Formula Seminar, I was able to sell my Amazon business for over $400,000.
Whether you have a business and want to sell more on Amazon, retired, or just need extra money, America's Amazon expert Dylan Frost will show you how for only $49.99 guaranteed or your money back. That's right, discover the easy way to make money on Amazon with Dylan Frost costs. The Wholesale Formula 2-hour seminar, Tuesday, March 28th at 2 p.m. for the greater St. Louis area. Register at thewholesaleformula.com.
Hi, this is Terry Hall, host of the popular radio show for veterans, Vet Time in America. Sundays at 12 noon on 97.1 FM Talk. Our show is all about veterans. We talk with experts. We help you get benefits, how to get more, and what to do if you're not getting what you deserve. Tune in on Sunday at noon. Join the conversation. We take calls. Vet Time in America. Tune in this Sunday at noon on 97.1 FM Talk.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions, and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, AA, MCO.
Hey, believe it or not, it's time for spring cleaning, and Zero Res can help beat the spring cleaning rush with big savings and priority booking this month. You're not the only one who's tired of winter this year. Your carpets are too. Think about the dust, dander, and bacteria living and breeding in your carpet. And there's only one real way to get all that gunk out of your home. That's by calling our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. They do great work. They can get in your home quickly. The carpets will dry quickly. Don't forget about your air ducts, too. Your air ducts are like the lungs of your home. If they're dirty, your indoor air quality suffers. And your home will never really get clean if your ducts are pumping it full of years of built-up dust, dirt, and allergens. This month's Mark Reardon KFTK special, 3 rooms, Zero Resified from St. Louis's #1 carpet cleaner, starting at just $119. You can take $75 off your air duct cleaning to get that true spring cleaning feel. Call 474-2020 or online at ZeroResSTL.com. Refresh, restore, and protect your investment. Call Zero Res to clean your business the right way so your floors and surfaces stay cleaner longer without the harmful chemicals the other guys use.
97.1 FM Talk. You're here because ideas change the world. St. Louis is home for conservative talk. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
This indictment, if it comes this week, is absolutely outrageous. It is frivolous. It is baseless. It is a political persecution. It is not a prosecution. It is targeting Donald Trump because Alvin Bragg is a left-wing Democrat who hates Donald Trump. And legally, this case is absurd on its face.
Ted Cruz, Senator Cruz, talking about the absurdity, in his opinion, of this case. We are watching and waiting to see what happens this week. And the latest news is that the Trump grand jury proceedings have been canceled for today under what Fox News is calling mysterious circumstances. What could that possibly be? Well, we go to the man with at least some of the answers, more than we have, that's for sure. Contributing editor at National Review, Fox News contributor, former Chief Assistant U.S. Attorney, Andy McCarthy, with us now. Andy, thank you so much for the time today. We're grateful for it.
Andy, it's my pleasure.
Can you talk about these mysterious circumstances, or for us non-legal eagles, what took place today and why it may have been postponed?
Well, so this is what's called a Monday, Wednesday, Thursday grand jury, meaning that's the days that they ordinarily meet. So there's a variety of reasons why a grand jury might not meet. A witness could become unavailable. There could be not enough grand jurors to have a quorum. That doesn't seem to be what the problem was today. Or there could be some misgivings or other preparations on the part of the prosecutors that made them think that canceling today was a good idea. They have everything on standby for tomorrow, so it may be that they're just delaying a bit. My suspicion is that the last witness they heard from on Monday, who's a guy by the name of Robert Costello, gave very damaging testimony about the credibility of Michael Cohen, who is one of the major witnesses in the prosecution's case. And it may be that if the prosecutors decided they needed to rebut whatever testimony Costello gave, and it's hard to gauge that because all these are grand jury proceedings, so they're all secret, but they may have decided they needed to prep a witness, and if they had extra time, why not take some extra time and have all their ducks in a row the next time that they meet before the grand jury. The only wild card here is if Bragg is up against a statute of limitations deadline, then it becomes problematic to delay. But unless he has that problem, it's better for him in the long run to make sure he's careful and accurate, because this case is bad enough as it is, so he doesn't need any mistakes in the grand jury process.
We're speaking with Andy McCarthy right now. I haven't heard anybody on any network talk about how this is the shot to get Donald Trump in an orange jumpsuit in a prison cell. Doesn't seem like anybody thinks that this is a strong, winnable case. When you assess what's taking place here, do you feel as though the process, the mugshot, the perp walk potentially, if that were even to happen, that is the political capital that's looking to be gained here? Or is there some real legal trouble you see that the former president might find himself in?
I think Trump has legal trouble, but I don't see it in this case. I think, Annie, one of the things that we miss because we focus so much on what goes on in Washington, so we're kind of like federal centric. And in the federal system, prosecutors are appointed by the president. They're not elected. And, they're vetted by the Senate. You can argue about how effective you think the vetting is, but they're at least, one of the qualifications is supposed to be that they're not going to use their office for political agendas. In the state systems, it's very different. And Alvin Bragg here in blue Manhattan is an elected progressive Democrat. He ran on going after Donald Trump. That was part of his political agenda. It's unfortunate, but the way the states do things by having the law enforcement system kind of pervaded with electoral politics is that law enforcement is kind of second and politics is first. And I think what Bragg is doing may be atrocious law enforcement. I think it is atrocious law enforcement, but for him, it's probably pretty good progressive politics in Manhattan.
Yeah, I think from looking from the outside in, we're in St. Louis here at the crime that we hear being reported in New York, and you wonder, is this the best use of time and tax dollars for Bragg? In St. Louis, we are, wrestling with this right now with Kim Gardner, the circuit attorney here that the attorney general is looking to remove. We know what it's like to experience an absence of interest in prosecuting actual violent crime and heading in those political directions with these offices. Is Alvin Bragg in blue New York? Is he safe to continue to go on with this type of behavior regardless of how the Trump situation here turns out?
Yeah, I think he is, unfortunately. I think, the last time you and I talked about Kim Gardner a couple of weeks ago, you're right to point it out because it's a very similar situation. You have somebody who has even though her attitudes are out of the mainstream with most people in Missouri, she has a strong progressive political following in St. Louis, and that's basically what she's attending to. And as a result, she doesn't much care what the governor thinks or like common people in Missouri think. She cares what her political constituency thinks. And I think it's very similar here with Bragg. And even though crime is up in the city, I should underscore for people, it's not anywhere near what it was in the bad old days before the reversal of crime in the early 1990s. Everybody spun up here because we had about 480 homicides in New York City last year, which was substantially up since 2017. But, just to get a grip, in 1991, we had 2,600 or 2,200 homicides in the city of New York. So things are worse here than they were just a few years ago, but they're not anything near what they were. And they could get very, as we saw in the 90s, things can get very bad before people finally say, we have to try something different.
Yeah, that's the tragedy of it. And we've seen it here. Kim Gardner, she got strongly reelected into her position, and now the Attorney General is moving forward to remove her. We'll see how that turns out. Andy McCarthy was with us right now. The likely process, at least as far as you can see out or anticipate what's going to happen, they may convene tomorrow. The grand jury has been told to stand by, as you said, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. If they don't convene tomorrow, I guess it goes to Monday. What are the next few things that viewers and listeners that are with us here in St. Louis can anticipate happening in this very, very high drama scenario?
Well, the way the law works in New York, if Trump were, let's say tomorrow he were indicted, because he hasn't been arraigned yet, the way New York procedure works is that indictment would be kept under seal until he appeared in court on it to be arraigned. And what would happen is the DA's office would notify Trump's counsel that he had been indicted. And the other thing that's going on in the background here is the Secret Service, of course, is in the loop with the New York City Police Department and the law enforcement component of the DA's office. So what I anticipate would happen is they will arrange for a day for former President Trump to come to New York from Florida and to surrender at the district attorney's office, which is where the criminal court is. I think they would probably have, he would not be put in handcuffs. He's not going to be arrested on the street. He's going to remain in Secret Service protective status. He will be fingerprinted and photographed like every person who comes into the system. In New York, that's supposed to be non-public, so that information shouldn't get out, but that doesn't mean it won't leak. And then he'll be brought to a courtroom, and since it's a non-violent case, he'll be granted bail and released on his own recognizance. The case will be, he'll probably enter a plea of not guilty, and the case will be assigned to a trial judge where we may not have a trial for over a year, but there'll be a lot of motion practice and discovery.
So in that scenario, it sounds to me like some of this would be publicly consumable. I mean, I look up at our TV screens that we have in our studio, and I'm watching Gwyneth Paltrow in some court case because of a skiing accident. Right. And I'm thinking about how interested people are in that. I can't exponentially so the interest in the visual of Donald Trump in this courtroom, the mugshot, so on and so forth. Do you anticipate that much of this will be publicly consumable?
Anything that happens in the courtroom should be public in New York. Now, I don't know if they routinely publicize pretrial proceedings. In federal court, the rules are different. In federal court, that's why you still see the artist renderings in the newspapers in federal trials, because we don't have television in federal court. But in state court, in most states they do have, and in New York they do have not only public court proceedings, but televised court proceedings. So I do imagine some of this at least will be on television. Well,
we're speaking with Andy McCarthy. So the timeline that you laid out there said a trial could be next year. We're 594 days away from a presidential election. His polling is very, very good. What's it like to campaign for the highest office in the land and also be on trial? Is he limited in his abilities to do any of that, if that's the case?
Yeah, I'm tempted to say, Annie, that you'd have to ask the exactly 0 people in American history who've ever done that. But you know, the thing I keep reminding people is we're very riveted to Manhattan right now because this is the frenzy before us. But there are a number of other investigations of Trump that are streaming along, and they're not stopping just because of this one. So while we're talking about this now, we could be talking about another one a week or two from now. Oh, and, you know, the question is going to be to just like cut to the chase that your question implies. What the Constitution says is the qualifications for being president are that you be 35, a natural born citizen and resident in the United States for at least 14 years. That's it. So there's nothing in the Constitution that says the American people in their if they decide to do so in their judgment, if they want to elect someone who's under indictment or under arrest or in Leavenworth prison, you know, there's nothing in the Constitution that says they can't. I assume that if a person couldn't carry out the duties of the presidency because he was literally otherwise detained, that, you know, the Senate and the House would have to step in and impeach. But, you know, we're a ways from there. But anyone who tells you they know exactly how this is going to play out is either lying or delusional, because we just don't know. Never happened before.
What a wild ride. Well, before we let you go, last question real quick here. Is there a chance he's not indicted for this Manhattan case?
I'd say maybe 1 in 10. And the reason I say that is because Bragg has walked away from this case once before. So he's obviously got misgivings about it. And the reason I don't think at this point that he's going to, you know, pull the plug on it after everything that's been done is they certainly seem to have done everything that you would do as a prosecutor to tie up a grand jury investigation, and he's under a lot of heat from progressives in New York to charge this guy.
Well, we will stay on it. I know you will as well. Andy McCarthy, thank you so much for the time today. Incredibly grateful for you fitting us into your schedule.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye. He's contributing editor at National Review, fellow at National Review Institute, Fox News contributor, and former chief assistant U.S. attorney. Whoa. That's some wild stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I hate everything about it.
You have not ever done a presidential election in media before.
No.
Nobody has ever done a presidential election like this before.
No.
And I was a front row seat to covering this in 2016. Had just started my Saturday show, got to talk about it, got to do hits on our daytime shows, and it's so wild. We on a regular basis here, we plan our shows for the most part, not much more, 24 hours in advance is a long leadway. There's a lot of our show that comes together that morning because the news cycle travels so quickly. It's minute by minute, and it's going to be exponentially moving in that direction, just literally as we speak. Whew, Andy McCarthy. What a great conversation. Stick around. We're going to speak with, in the 1 o'clock hour, Deroy Murdock and also Bobby Burack, who is with Outkick. Excited to have him on the show. He was supposed to be with us last week, and then the Pentagon had a news conference, and we wanted to make sure we weren't like in World War III with Russia. We weren't. High five, everybody. We made it another week. We'll talk to them in the 1 o'clock hour. Wiggins America on that Chicago mayor race when we come back. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
The best realtor in the game, Jen Teskey with RE/MAX Alliance. If you are looking to purchase a home on the Illinois side of the river, if you're looking to sell your home on the Illinois side of the river, Jen Teskey is a wonderful partner with us here on the Annie Frey Show at 97.1. She's one of us. She is somebody who is very, very dedicated to helping the communities that she is helping move people around in, buying, selling homes. But she's the best. She has the greatest team. And she's waiting for your phone call or your text. If you're thinking about selling soon, or if you're thinking about selling in the next year or so, you can reach out to Jen Teskey and start that conversation. If you're looking to buy and you want to make sure that you got the best team out there to put you into the place that you've been dreaming of, helping you find the home of your dreams and get you the best price, that's the Jen Teskey RE/MAX Alliance team. Call or text this number and get that conversation started today. You can reach her at 618-541-1010. Call or text Jen Teskey with RE/MAX Alliance at 618-541-1010.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet store. Do you have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning because of a sharp pain in your heel?
I did. I had plantar fasciitis. I had a burning sensation on the bottom of my feet. I went to the Good Feet store, and what a relief. And now I never go without my Good Feet support.
Are your knees and back killing you by the end of the day?
It was getting so severe I almost stopped walking. I have no problems with my knees now. I couldn't believe how fast it helped me.
You deserve a better life too. Come to the Good Feet store today.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations, on Olive west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway, or in Shiloh, Illinois across from Dearborg's.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Pain relief and comfort to fit any budget. Come in for a free test walk today. Good Feet products are proudly made in the USA.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Join Mosby Building Arts every Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. on 97.1 FM. Rich Orse and guests give insider tips about renovations, design, construction, exteriors, and more. Tune in to Right at Home with Rich on Saturdays or catch the podcast online.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 54 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Celebrating 22 years as St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. Thanks for being a part of it.
Go ahead, man.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Here, have $1. In fact, no, brother, man. Here, have $2. $2 means a snack for me, but it means a big deal to you. Be strong, serve God.
What is this?
I don't know. Don't turn it down yet. I think it's fun. Hannah, come here.
It's just about helping homeless people.
Hannah, come here.
Hannah.
Stop commenting on the YouTube and get in here. And tell me if I requested this. Because hearing it, I can see myself in my car going, oh, this is one.
What is it?
You did, in fact, request this song.
Of course you did.
I'll have to check back in the title. I think it might be Arrested Development.
Yeah?
Something like that.
I like it.
I heard the beginning when I was cutting it, and I laughed out loud to Anna, and I said, this goes in Wiggins America.
You know what this sounds like? CeeLo. Wish I was a little bit taller. Wish I was a ball. A little bit faster, but it's close.
Yeah. Rabbit in a hat with a bat.
It's got to be same era.
Yeah, anyway. I love it. Anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
The only natural segue here is Wiggins America.
Wiggins. Oh, Wiggins. Always natural. All right.
Kenny says, yes, Arrested Development.
Wow, thanks. That was somebody really knew their stuff. Arrested. I don't even know if I knew that was a band. I knew it was a TV show, not necessarily a band. All right, in Chicago, they are having a mayoral runoff. As of February 28th, we've known the two candidates. Neither one of them are Lori Lightfoot. Okay, I was holding for applause, but I didn't get it. Paul Vallis is one of the candidates, and so is Brandon Johnson. Now, these two candidates, as we've discussed a little bit on this show ahead of that election, I don't know if we talked about a whole lot afterwards, but these two candidates are very, very different. One of them is moderate and has said things that are almost sound Republican at this point, and that is Paul Vallis. What? What is happening? There's something else happening around me as I'm talking, and I don't know what it is.
No, it's not.
Okay, then I'm just going to keep going, and you guys do whatever you're doing.
Hannah's not wearing headphones.
Okay.
This is the part where we tell secrets about her.
Vallis?
Yeah, okay. Paul Vallis. Well, I mean, yeah, that's... Congratulations, we've done it. We've had those for a while, and we finally got to use them.
Yeah.
Hannah's not wearing headphones, so she can't hear this right now.
And still doesn't know.
No.
Which is really great. It's got to be one of the most confusing things that's ever happened to her. All right. So anyway, Paul Vallis. Oh, wait, here we go.
Hannah's not wearing headphones. She can't hear me right now. La, 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 la.
I made all this 2 weeks ago, and that's the first time we've gotten to use it.
Well, anyway.
It's great stuff.
Brad, should you break the news?
No, don't tell.
This is
don't
way
tell.
too much fun.
We're just going to keep going now. All right. She still doesn't know. All right, Paul Vallis.
I don't know what they're playing, but I don't like this. I'm going to go out to the logger and see what they're doing.
I guess we should tell her. She's going to find out.
Yeah. What are you playing?
Why don't you know what we're playing?
Because I don't have my headphones on.
Oh.
Then don't worry about it. Do you want to comment on the Chicago mayoral election at all, though?
No.
Because that's really the point.
She's
oh, no,
gonna
she's
go listen to
leaving.
the logger.
She's just leaving.
Hey, come back before this segment is over.
Okay, find out what just happened to you, and then come back. All right.
I thought you were smiling at me because you wanted me to do it.
No, I didn't even notice. I'm looking at my papers because I did all this research.
You worked so hard on this segment.
Yeah,
you made it.
I did, but I didn't realize she wasn't wearing them. She hasn't even found out yet. She's finding out right now. We'll find out at the end of the segment. Okay. So Paul Vallis, a little bit more moderate Democrat, but still a Democrat. Brandon Johnson is running to the left of Lori Lightfoot, which is shocking.
Who knew there was real estate there?
Yeah, really. And maybe there isn't. I mean, maybe he is a loner and just standing over there and isn't going to have a chance at this. But we don't know. It's Chicago, deep blue Chicago. So, of course, what Johnson and progressives and Democrats, like hard left Democrats, are doing is they're digging up all this stuff on Vallis to try to find ways to paint him as, oh, he's not really a Democrat. And they're finding plenty, which to my excitement exists. I mean, I'm glad to hear that this stuff. I just hope he can win. So they found that he appeared on a show in Chicago similar to this show, a conservative leaning talk show.
Dan Proft has been on the show before.
Mm-hmm. Was it on Dan Proft's show?
He was co-hosting, I think, in the place of Dan Proft.
Okay, so this was in December.
Go ahead. You do. You read.
Well, it was in December of 2021. Vallis appeared and said that he didn't like the way that both Pritzker and Lightfoot were relying on executive orders to implement all this public health policy, especially during the COVID era, because it gives them, quote, the ability to act like dictators by circumventing all of the legislature.
Yeah, amen.
Apparently, that's a right-wing quote now. Because they're using that to badger him and say, oh, look, these right-wingers, they support democracy.
Well, and also think about what it was like in Illinois in December of 2021 compared to the rest of the states.
Mm-hmm. Very different. Every state around us.
Lording going on in the governor's office.
Yeah. And so because these things are coming to light, now Pritzker's campaign has responded. Now, Pritzker himself didn't say anything, but his campaign spokesperson, and I think that's by design. Pritzker knows I may be having Paul Vallis as a mayor of Chicago soon. Yeah. So I think he's playing it a little bit safe here, as Vallis is too. But Pritzker's campaign spokesperson, Natalie Edelstein, said that throughout the pandemic, Governor Pritzker spent every day fighting to save people's lives and livelihoods. Did you take exception with that? I took a little bit of exception with that. He did it by following the advice of the nation's best virologists and epidemiologists, many of whom are Illinois' world-class research institutions and hospitals. Leadership requires making tough choices and not pandering to the loudest voices driven by politics.
It's going to be so interesting to see how this race, even if Vallis doesn't end up winning, I mean, he's a Democrat, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're all Democrats.
He, of course, is.
He's just the least crazy, progressive, transformative version of Democrat that is in the race and would make, in my opinion, strides and dramatic improvement in Chicago should he be elected. I wonder if it's going to be super close or if it's going to be a landslide either way. Regardless, it's, I think, very indicative of what is the temperature for people who are willing to show up to have their voice be heard in Chicago in April, when all everybody is going to be focused on them and what this outcome is. I think that it is going to be a bit of a bellwether. Is Hannah coming back?
I think she, by the look on her face, she just seems to have realized what had happened.
Why? Describe what you see.
She's kind of biting her bottom lip. And
what does she have on right now?
Smile walking. Hi, Hannah.
You guys had big voice guys make sounders about me not wearing headphones.
You know how long we've had those? Yeah. And you've been doing a great job wearing your headphones lately.
Super annoying.
Every time you walk in, we look at each other like, she's doing it again.
Doing it again. She's on her stuff.
And the one time I missed that you did it, I couldn't figure out what was going on around me.
Hannah's not wearing headphones. She can't hear me right now. La, 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 la.
That's my favorite one.
That's so funny.
I'm just imagining him in the studio recording that.
I can tell you that when he sent those back to me, He goes, dude, I had fun with these. He did several takes.
Hannah, we didn't want to hurt your feelings. It was for fun.
No, I love it. And it's true.
No, you've been
Yes.
an A+ student in a really, really annoying way. Every time you come in and you don't have them on, I'm like, ooh, this is it. And then you're like, boop, put the headphones on. I'm like, oh.
I made a point to tell Brad yesterday. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to leave my headphones in the studio so I don't forget them when I come back in. Well, that was good, guys.
I'm telling you, Hannah, go back and look at the web stream for the last 2 weeks. There are times, especially in the 2 o'clock hour, that you'll walk in and you're not wearing them yet, and I'll look over and we're looking at each other.
You're kidding.
Oh, no. We're all looking at each other like, okay, all right, we ready? And then you put them on.
Yeah.
You've been driving us crazy, Hannah.
For sure. Good sport. Everybody's worried about Hannah taking the joke. She took it.
No, it was great.
They are? People are worried about Hannah taking the joke?
Well,
She's
they're laughing
great at
too,
that.
but yeah.
I love those sounders.
Well, we'll have to come up with new ones now because I used all 3 of them.
That's it. We have nothing more for you.
Anything else to say about the Chicago mayor race, Hannah?
Nope. La, la, la. That's all I can hear.
All right. Stick around. Deroy Murdock and Bobby Burack on the Annie Frey Show. We come back. And your vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Give Hannah some love in the comments. Come say hi. Thank her for being a good sport. And vote in the YouTube poll. If you had to pick Team Trump, Team DeSantis. We'll be right back.
If you own a small business, you know the value of time. GetRefunds.com does too. That's why they've made it easy, no matter how busy you are, to apply for the Employee Retention Credit, or ERC. Go to Refunds.com to get started, and in less than 8 minutes, see if your business qualifies for ERC assistance. Your business may be eligible for a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee kept on payroll during COVID-19. GetRefunds.com has already helped clients claim over $3 billion in payroll tax refunds through the ERC, and they may be able to help your business too. There's no upfront charge either. They don't get paid until your business gets its refund. Many businesses believe they won't qualify based on incomplete or outdated information. So don't let this opportunity pass you by, because this payroll tax refund is only available for a limited time. Go to GetRefunds.com. That's GetRefunds.com.
Mobile urgent care that comes straight to you in your home, at your office. You're feeling sick, you got something going on in your throat, and you're wondering, oh my gosh, what's going on here? You're thinking it's getting worse and worse. What do? Do you find an urgent care near you? Do you go sit in the waiting room for good Lord knows how long and wait to be seen and round of other people who are having similar issues? Or do you have Stay Home Medical come to you? Of course you do. This is an incredible way to take care of your health needs when something hits you and you need that urgent care coming to you. Mobile urgent care with nurse practitioners that work with a collaborating physician that come to your home or your office. You avoid the wait time, you avoid driving, you avoid sitting in an office with other sick people, and you get the care that you need, the prescriptions that you need. And even if it's at home, like in my situation, generally when one person gets sick, multiple people do. 314-944-3003. Call 314-944-3003. StayHomeMedical.com.
If you own a home in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or the need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis.com at 314-782-8000 and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant homes, inherited homes, fixer-uppers, beautiful homes, even the tenant who won't pay the rent apartment. Google us. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, and check out our best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move according to your schedule and your terms. Go to our website, chrisbuyshomes.st.louis.com, or call Chris at 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000, and get the offer you've been waiting for. 314-782-8000.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A high school shooting in Colorado. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Police say 2 faculty members were shot at East High School in Denver.
One is currently in serious but stable condition. The other is currently in surgery, listed in critical condition.
Denver Police Chief Ron Thomas says the shooting happened during the search of a student who had to be checked every day as part of a safety plan. But the suspect is not in custody, believed to have left the scene. Earlier this month, students from the same school skipped class and marched to Colorado's state capitol, demanding stricter gun laws after a student was shot and killed while sitting in a car near that school. No grand jury decision today about indicting former President Donald Trump. The panel was supposed to meet at this hour in New York City, but instead is on standby for tomorrow, with today's session canceled. No word on why.
Trump is said to be facing multiple charges, including falsifying business records for labeling a $130,000 hush money payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels as legal expenses. The charge could potentially, though, be elevated to a felony if Trump is found to have falsified records with the intent to conceal a violation of the campaign financing laws.
Fox's Brian Yennes. Trump has denied wrongdoing and says the probe is politically motivated. A partial win in U.S. court for Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba. A federal judge tossing out part of a shareholder lawsuit over claims of misstatements about a payment platform, but the judge refusing to dismiss claims of other misstatements about antitrust risk. We're moments away from the Fed's latest decision on rate hikes. There's been some debate about whether they might pause rate increases because of recent bank failures. Before the bank uncertainty, there had been speculation the Fed might go back to higher rate hikes because of recent inflation reports. America is listening to Fox News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Windy, warm, and more humid as we go through our Wednesday afternoon with some scattered showers and a couple of thunderstorms. 69 for the high. Tonight, windy, some scattered showers and thunderstorms around. Very humid overnight. 58. Thursday, still unsettled. More rain, a couple of thunderstorms. Windy, warm, and humid. 70 on Thursday. Some heavy rain possible Thursday night, and still unsettled on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Cast your vote where it really matters. Local school boards. The Save Our Schools rally is Tuesday, March 28th. Come meet the candidates who align with your values. Go to 971talk.com/events and join us March 28th, 5 to 8 p.m. at Winty's in Chesterfield.
Is your home's title still in your name? What would you do if you discovered you're the victim of a home title theft and that the one document that proves you own your home is no longer in your name? With Home Title Lock's free lookup service, you can verify your home is still safely in your name. Thieves can now discover the title to your home online. They simply forge your signature on a transfer document stating you sold your home to them. Then they take out loans on your home or sell it to some unsuspecting buyer. Homeowners insurance and common identity theft programs do not protect you. Home Title Lock does. Home Title Lock puts a virtual shield around your home's title to help keep criminals away. First things first, verify your home's title is still in your name with Home Title Lock's free lookup service. There's no obligation. It's absolutely free. Then register your address for 30 free days of protection. Visit HometitleLock.com/free. HometitleLock.com/free.
Don't miss the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout Expo this weekend only at the St. Charles Convention Center. Browse a huge display of hot tubs and swim spas from 5 major brands and up to 50% off. That's the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout Expo this weekend only at the St. Charles Convention Center. Visit spaexpo.com or call 1-800-SPA-SALE.
Saving money at Ruler Foods is an everyday occurrence. And when you shop at Ruler Foods, you're going to experience all those name brands that you normally shop for, plus those Kroger brands. Ruler Foods prices, easy to save. Your budget is going to be very grateful for it. I want you to check rulerfoods.com, and you can sign up to be the first to know about Ruler Foods promotions. You can also search out the Ruler Foods that is nearest you. Maybe there's one right around the corner and you haven't visited it yet. Why not just make a hobby of it? Don't even go there with the intention to buy anything. Just go check it out. You're going to be really, really grateful that you did, because you're going to see some deals on things. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say some of the amazing savings that you can get on products that I promise you're buying all of the time. The savings is magnificent. Right now, you can get pints of blueberries, raspberries, or blackberries at $1.67 each. You can get Pepsi or Mountain Dew products at 24 packs at $9.99. They also have great deals, 10 for $10, Hunt's pasta sauce or Kroger pasta, huge in the Frey family. Go to Ruler Foods and start saving today. We certainly do. Rulerfoods.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
We trust companies to do what's right, but when they don't, there's Onder Law, making a difference, one case at a time.
Call Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618-900,000.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Almost everybody who's looked at it except Alvin Bragg has decided that it doesn't pass the smell test, particularly because it rests so heavily on Cohen. And at the end of the day, I think everybody understands that these particular charges, as contrived as they may be, they wouldn't be brought against any American not named Donald Trump. And that's the part that, as a former prosecutor and a lawyer, troubles me the most, because just because you have a bad man, a potentially bad man, or somebody who's not well liked, you shouldn't distort the Justice Department or the justice decisions in order to get him.
Deroy Murdock, nationally syndicated columnist, Fox News contributor. Deroy Murdock.
So Deroy Murdock joining us now, as he does each and every Wednesday, on this topic specifically of the potential or maybe even pending Trump indictment. Deroy, welcome back to the show. Great to have you here. Can't wait to hear what you think about all of this drama.
Annie, great to talk to you. And yeah, drama is the right word. You know, it never seems to stop with the left. They just cannot stop chasing down Donald J. Trump any more than foxes can't stop chasing rabbits, I suppose. And here we've got this situation with this potential indictment, possible arraignment, arrest, perp walk, the whole bit. And look, they were not able to get him on Russian collusion. They were not able to get him on the so-called, quid pro quo with the Ukrainian president. So now they're trying to dig up this old potential charge from 7 years ago involving hush money to a former porn star named Stormy Daniels. That whole situation, this runs into all kinds of trouble. Number one is the statute of limitations. That payment took place end of October 2016. If this is a misdemeanor, that statute of limitations runs 2 years. Felonies in this case run 5 years. So this could be the past statute of limitations. If you get in the issue of the reports to the Federal Election Commission, I believe the documents in question were filed April 12, 2018. So if you add 5 years to that, that would be April 12, 2023. So they may be down to the last couple of weeks before the statute of limitations lapses. This whole thing goes away. But you've got Alvin Bragg, not the Attorney General of New York or even the DA for all in New York City, just the DA for Manhattan Island where I live. And you've got this Manhattan DA going after the former President of the United States on this arcane matter. And it, at most should be a misdemeanor, possibly a fine involved. But they want this guy in handcuffs. They want the mugshot. And this, I think, is just all an entirely political, far-left Democrat partisan effort to tear down Donald J. Trump, not at the polls, not through the votes at the ballot box, not through compelling arguments on op-ed pages or even appearances in debates or on TV talk shows, what have you, radio talk shows, but to abuse the judicial system, the justice system of our country, to go after somebody for strictly partisan purposes. It's disgusting, and it's the kind of thing I'd expect to see in a third world country, not in the United States of America.
Deroy, I'm thinking about what we're about to embark on as a country, what the former president might be personally and professionally about to endure. And he's running for president. He wants to be the president again. He is entitled to put another go at it and run and try to win the nomination for the Republican Party to be the president once again. And I go back and forth in my own head, wrestling with the idea of this litigation and this witch hunt against this man being the most important thing for Americans to take into consideration, the weaponizing of a Justice Department against an ideology with which they don't agree with, because Donald Trump has said himself, it's not me, they're after you. Is this the most important thing that we should as voters be concerned with right now? Or at the same time, I can, like I said, wrestle with my own thoughts and say, is this a massive distraction about other issues that need to be addressed in this pending presidential election?
Well, there are a lot of things we need to address. The economy is one. The fact that we don't have a border with Mexico, the border with Canada is imploding as well. Those are very important. But way up there on the list is what I call just the creeping tyranny, encroaching totalitarianism of the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party used to be about, raising your taxes. We're going to help the poor people out, and let's be generous with folks who are downtrodden. Fine, but this has morphed into something that it looks much more like a Marxist totalitarian system where the justice system is being abused. If they disagree with you, don't just say, all right, you're wrong, you're mistaken. Okay, we're going to take you off social media. We're going to deplatform you. We're going to make sure you don't have any money to pay your bills. And it looks much more like the Cuban Communist Party or East German Communist Party than it does the Democrat Party of Walter Mondale and Hubert Humphrey and Lyndon Johnson and JFK and even Bill Clinton. So these people have gone far, far, far beyond where they used to be, and that's a big, serious problem. And I think what we need to do in 2024 when we go to the polls, every time we have the opportunity, is remove Democrats from power, because this has gone from just some people who maybe are kind of reckless with spending to people who are truly, truly dangerous with power, with, I think, increasingly a sense of totalitarianism about them. And what we may see with Donald J. Trump in the days ahead is just the most recent and most vivid example of that huge problem.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with that. What do you think about the way that Donald Trump is handling this? He kind of tipped people off last week, suggesting that he would be arrested on Tuesday. It sure drove the weekend news cycle and put the spotlight squarely on himself, which he's very good to do and very good at, and has won a previous presidential election because he was so capable of doing that. It's definitely taken a lot of attention away from a lot of these other major issues, including Joe Biden and some of the legal troubles that he could potentially be in with a lot of the findings regarding who's getting money from China and so on and so forth. Is this the right focus for America right now as far as the news cycle goes?
Well, it's hard to avoid it. I mean, if what we think is going to happen will happen, this will be unprecedented. There's never been a case of a sitting or a former president being indicted, much less arrested. So if that happens, it'll be the first time in our 240-odd year history that this has taken place. So it'll be certainly the biggest story of the week, if not the month or maybe the year. So it's hard to argue with that. If the left is smart, they will not indict him, not arrest him. He will look paranoid or look to have invented something. He'll look like he's crying wolf. If they do, in fact, indict him and arrest him, then he will be vindicated. He will look like a victim. He will look like a sympathetic character. And I think even some people who disagree with him will say, well, this has gone too far. And his popularity will go up. Attention will be focused on him and less on Nikki Haley or Vivek Ramaswamy or certainly Ron DeSantis. And people who like him will be enraged and rally around him. And people who are not crazy about him but see this as totally inappropriate in a free society will rally around him as well. So, if the Democrats are basically playing in his hand and doing, if they do what he thinks they will and arrest him and indict him, they'll basically be playing into his hands and make him a bigger and more sympathetic figure than he is today.
Deroy Murdock with us right now. He's a nationally syndicated columnist. We also see him regularly on Fox News as a Fox News contributor. You brought up Ron DeSantis' name. Certainly there are other people who have declared that they are running for president on the Republican side. A lot of them have varying things to offer the presidency, and Americans will have the opportunity to make their choice when their primary or caucus arrives in their state. There is a lot of drama, a lot of attention paid to the Trump or DeSantis coin, and you got to flip it and see which side you land on. A lot of people maybe already have predetermined which team they're on. Is this good for the Republican Party to sort through these things in a primary process and really make a determination as to who we want to be going into this 2024 election?
I believe strongly in primaries. I believe in closed partisan primaries. I don't believe in Democrats voting in Republican primaries, nor do I believe in Republicans voting in Democrat parties. Republicans on their own, Democrats on their own should choose whoever they wish to run for U.S. House, U.S. Senate, President, Governor, whatever the positions are, and let the best man or woman win, and let them debate the issues, talk to voters, tell us what their ideas are. We'll learn about their leadership skills or lack thereof, and then pick the best candidate to run against the best candidate the other side can present, and then we go to the polls in November of 2024, and then choose our new members of the House, Senate, City Hall, school board, and all the way up to the President of the United States. So yeah, I do believe in a robust primary, and it's good for, even if Trump ends up becoming the nominee, it'll be good for him to go through this exercise, debate people again. It will hone his skills. He'll be fresh and energetic, and work all of those muscles, rather than sit back and have the crown put on his head and then get in his first debate fall of next year with whomever the Democrats choose, and be rusty and sort of flabby and not do very well. Mm-hmm. I think the primaries hone the candidates on both sides. So I very much believe in that.
Well, we love having your thoughts on these issues, and I think that we're going to be in for a very wild ride in the next 18 months or so in this country. And I'm watching the news right now. There's been another school shooting in Colorado. This is something that's unfolding as we speak. We are in St. Louis, Missouri. We have a crime-ridden city. We have an activist, a circuit attorney, Kim Gardner, who is potentially going to be removed by the attorney general. Of course, President Xi and Vladimir Putin meeting this week. And in the midst of their meeting, which is a very dramatic foreign policy concern for the United States, we have John Kirby in the White House talking about how the LGBTQ issues in our military are of utmost importance. It just seems as though there are many, many things taking place right now that are affecting everyday lives of Americans, and also on a broader sense. And we need to stay focused on these massive issues that our elected officials should be influencing for the betterment of the United States of America. It just seems as there's a ton of drama that tends to get in the way as a political sideshow. There is a lot at stake in this upcoming election.
I totally agree with you, and I think, unfortunately, some of the drama is just drama. Some of the drama is serious as well. There's a lot of comedy mixed into the drama, like yesterday, the White House literally drama. They had the cast of the Jason Sudeikis show about soccer, which whose title is escaping me at the moment, but that's what they're focused on. I know Jason Sudeikis and a bunch of fun people at a time when like you say, we've got one of the main focuses of U.S. foreign policy since 1972, when Richard Nixon reopened China and met with Mao Zedong, was to keep China and Russia separate and keep them off balance. And here they are with this big love fest with Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin, hanging out and having a great, jolly good time. And what's the White House focused on? Jason Sudeikis and the cast of his comedy program. It really is astonishing. And with all of that, the John Kirby saying, well, it's all about gay stuff. Well, I'm all for being nice to gay people, but is that really the primary thing we want the spokesman for the National Security Council focused on? We've got the Xi Jinping Putin summit. You've got the Chinese negotiating a peace deal between Saudi Arabia and Iran, as opposed to what we had under Donald J. Trump was peace deals between Israel and its neighbors. Now it's with Iran and its neighbors on the other side. And we've got the White House focused on, gay soldiers and comedy programs. It's astonishing. You can't make this up. We're just living in something, a combination of an SNL sketch and hell on earth.
Yeah, well, it's important to have these discussions. It's important to talk about them out in the open and really try to keep our focus on the prize, and that's just getting our country back into some sort of order. I'm raising 4 kids in this world. I would like them to have a country that's better off than what I grew up in, and it seems as though that doesn't seem like it's the focus right now for a lot of
good
people.
luck with that.
Yeah, it's a chore. It's a labor of love. Deroy, thank you for being on here with us. We always appreciate our opportunity to speak with you.
Great to be with you as ever. Thank you, Annie.
Bye-bye. Deroy Murdock, nationally syndicated columnist, Fox News contributor, talking about the potential indictment of former President Donald Trump. We're going to take a quick break. Bobby Burack is going to be with us when we return. He's with Outkick, excited to keep working on developing this relationship with Outkick. You can go to Outkick.com. I love what they do, and excited to have Bobby on the show. For the first time, he was supposed to be with us, I think this time last week, and we had to cover a live press conference. So he'll join us this time. We're going to talk about the woke culture and how the squeaky wheel maybe isn't the majority of the people in the room, just maybe the loudest. Bobby Burack on the Annie Frey Show when we return.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Michael's Flooring Outlet online at igotfloor.com. Your flooring purchase at a locally owned, St. Louis operated, family owned and operated business is a click away. You can start that process by going to igotfloor.com and learn why many people in the St. Louis region, people come from Illinois to shop at Michael's Flooring Outlet for sure, because they appreciate that opportunity to get the best customer service, the greatest selection of products, and quality, value. That matters. It matters to me, certainly when I'm shopping. When I visited Michael's Flooring Outlet and I walked through the store and I got to see the different displays that they had, I was really, really struck by how well they have everything laid out for you to shop, and also the ability for the sales staff to really, really, really know flooring. It's not somebody who's working in flooring, on Tuesday and paint on Thursday. These are flooring people. If you're shopping for carpeting and you have a pet and you want to check out that Mohawk Smart Strand all pet carpeting that's going to make it so that you feel comfortable with your dog rolling around or your cat, laying on that carpet, and it's made to withstand the people who you love, the animals who you love in your house. Mohawk is a great brand for that, and Michael's is the place to get it. You can find them all online at igotfloor.com.
McCarthy Homes is celebrating 125 years of business, going back to 1898. To celebrate, they're taking $18,980 off every home. The Preserve, a great location close to Ted Drew's, Kirkwood, Webster Groves, villas from the 300s, the Liberty Series in the Glen, luxurious designer series on wooded lots in the estates. All 3 villages are now open at the Preserve at Watson and McKenzie, McKelveyHomes.com.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Has the stock market slumps and instability this year got you concerned? Would you like a way that could protect your retirement when the markets are down? Gold Alliance would like to give you 2 free reports, the Inflation Survival Plan and the Stock Market Correction Plan. Both reveal how to protect your savings in uncertain times. It's absolutely free. Don't wait. Call 800-200-2079. 800-200-2079. 800-200-2079.
Breaking news. Tax refund shock is everywhere, but what is it?
My tax refund shrank.
Mine too. The culprit? Pandemic-related stimulus payments and tax credits expiring. In this reporter's opinion, you need a tax expert.
Hey guys, Jackson Hewitt guarantees your biggest refund.
And tax prep is 50% off? Going there now.
50% off is a limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
The Cardinals open the 2023 season at home on Thursday, March 30th. So don't miss the tradition and the excitement of opening day at Busch Stadium. That day, all fans 21 and older will take home the 2023 Magnet schedule, thanks to Budweiser. Never miss a game with this convenient information hub. That's Thursday, March 30th. The Cardinals home opener and the 2023 Magnet schedule presented by Budweiser. Tickets still remain. Get yours at Cardinals.com.
This is Paul Goldschmidt. Thank you for being the best fans in baseball.
On Saturday, April 1st, the Cardinals host the Blue Jays, and that day, 25,000 fans aged 16 and older will take home a mystery bobblehead courtesy of Central Bank that features Molina or Pujols hitting home runs. April Fools! These bobbleheads will actually showcase both players doing their best Wainwright impression pitching. That's Saturday, April 1st. The Cardinals, the Blue Jays, and the mystery Molina and Pujols pitching bobbleheads. Tickets available at cardinals.com.
This is Adam Wainwright. Don't miss a legendary moment at Busch Stadium.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Ola and Bola, the Osundario brothers, who were the MAGA-wearing, terrorists that beat up Jussie Smollett with us.
We wanted to be the poster boy for activism.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thank you for being with us here today. We appreciate it. We have had great conversations so far today. At 12:25, Andy McCarthy came on the show, and we were talking to Andy McCarthy about the legalese behind the Trump indictment. The pending indictment hasn't happened yet. The grand jury was told to go home today and to be on standby for tomorrow. And we're kind of waiting to see what ends up happening there. Brad, when you were listening to Andy McCarthy talk about the timeline of what is going to happen next, potentially, nobody knows. He said there was a 1 in 10 chance that Donald Trump doesn't get indicted here. What do you think about all that?
Well, I agree with him. I mean, who am I to question what he knows? But my thing is this: he's definitely going to get indicted. And the reason I think he's going to get indicted is because that is what, like he was pointing out, the DA wants. The DA wants to indict him, not for legal purposes, but for political purposes. And that is the nature of electing district attorneys, electing law enforcement personnel. Mm-hmm. They're by nature politicized. And they run on that sort of thing. I will find out which is really terrifying to think about if you stop and think about our country and what's going on here. It's that somebody will run on the prospect of figuring out what crime you committed and therefore then prosecuting you. Not finding a crime and then saying, hey, this person needs to be prosecuted for this crime. Going, this person needs to be prosecuted for a crime.
A crime.
And then go finding a crime.
Yeah.
That I hate. I hate everything about that. I would hate that if the right was doing that. I'd hate that. I hate that the left's doing it.
Is there an instance that we can think of where the right has done that?
I mean, the best, to actually pursue charges, no. And actively investigate. Investigation is one thing. But to then, I don't know, cobble together some sort of conglomeration of state and federal charges to say, aha, you should have used campaign funds or whatever to pay for this hush money because it's an in-kind contribution. I don't know. I don't know of anything like that on the right.
I keep hearing people in our comment section here that are dissenters, and I've seen other people on Twitter say that he deducted it or whatever as a campaign contribution. I don't believe that's true.
I don't think so
I wish
either.
I would have asked Andy McCarthy that, because it's a common misunderstanding or misinformation that I continue to see, which is that the question that is in existence here is when Donald Trump says, Stormy Daniels, I need you to be quiet about this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to give you $130,000 to sign this NDA and to not talk about this. And she says, okay, sign here, cash that check. If Michael Cohen is doing that stuff as his fixer, which is what he is referred to as, if he does that while he's running for office, the idea here, the accusation here, is that Donald Trump wanted to keep Stormy Daniels quiet because he was running for president. He didn't want Stormy Daniels' relationship with him to affect his ability to become the president. So he wanted Stormy Daniels to be quiet. The people who are against Donald Trump are saying that's a campaign contribution. And you didn't disclose this, and that is the issue at hand. all that Donald Trump's defense has to do is prove that there was any other intention that could have been part of the process to pay that money to Stormy Daniels and to involve himself in that NDA. And that is the easiest thing in the world to prove. So if that's the case, and as we were speaking earlier on the show with Andy McCarthy at 12:25, you can rewind on the Odyssey app. If you missed that, I highly recommend it, or check the Andy Frey Show podcast. If you listen to Andy McCarthy and you talk about the fruitless pursuit of this kind of a process, you also have to remember in the same context that there are other legal situations taking place surrounding Donald Trump. He's going to have a multi-front battle here legally for himself and in this campaign. And he could certainly be on trial. There's no precedent for this. He could certainly be on trial and be running for president. We're going to shift gears here a little bit, and we're going to talk about, man, every time anybody in this studio here or a guest brings up the term woke, there's always people who go, what does woke even mean? Like they get real bent out of shape. That is a play. I need to write a playbook. I need to write down what the left playbook is, because there's these consistencies that come up where you're talking about how woke is influencing politics and culture and everything. And what the left tries to do is not argue that your point has any validity. They try to say, woke doesn't even exist. What even is that? Well, I know we're not stupid enough to believe that there isn't this woke movement that is out there. A lot of people are calling it out, and that's why we bring our next guest on to the show, welcoming Bobby Burack on with Outkick. Excited to have him on with us here on the Andy Frey Show. Check out Outkick.com to see more about what Bobby is doing on a regular basis. Bobby, thanks for being here with us. Great to have you.
Yeah, Annie, appreciate it.
So, you've written this article, and it's on Outkick.com. This is what the fall of woke influence looks like. Does woke even exist? Let's start there before my detractors come on here and say, Annie, come on, what is woke? Give me a break.
Yeah, so I hope everybody reads it because it lays out the trajectory and also the origin of woke. We can actually take it back a bit further because what woke used to mean is a little bit different than what it has come to mean now. But the current iteration of woke that we always talk about is something that I would define as a means to disrupt society by association and identity, pretty much to decide success and status and opportunity based on your identity, whether it be your race, sexual orientation, political views, and how much you abide by groupthink and thought policing. Like that, to me, is the foundation of what woke has come to mean. And what I find so fascinating is that it's really infested everywhere: politics, culture, entertainment, sports, academia, big tech. However, there aren't that many people who actually agree with what woke has come to mean, which is what we just described. Only 8% of the electorate actually agrees with it. So you say, well, if 92% of the country doesn't like this stuff, they're not on board, how is it taken over all of these major institutions? And I think that that is where the disconnect has been. Woke never converted the population, but it converted industries, institutions in the messaging. The woke's best trick was that they duped these institutional and corporate leaders to think that this represents society. They were able to do that by rigging social media algorithms, by conquering the media, by making entertainers and comedians go on board with their messaging. So it always seems like the woke has captured the whole country. It hasn't, but it's captured the messaging, which makes it seem much bigger than it actually is.
Bobby Burack with us right now with Outkick. Go to Outkick.com to read his article, his latest article. I look at the term woke, and people, you've laid this out very well, and I'll add to it, that the term woke is the label for how people who are interested in political power, but more importantly, in my opinion, money, funding, have become victim manufacturers. And the idea is that you have to create a victimhood that you can then profit on. And ironically, the ways in which they profit on never really actually end up solving the victimhood, because if it did, they'd be out of the business. So you have a scenario where you're a victim and you're a victim and you're a victim, like Oprah style, and money is being made, power is being allocated, and the victimhood is resonant in that thing of yourself that you cannot change. So it is your skin color, or maybe it's your gender identity or your lifestyle choices or whatever. And it's just a way to manufacture power and money. It seems as though, like what you're saying, those 92% are going to have to stand up and speak up in order to say this grift, if you will, is over.
Right. So I think let's take it even a step further. So wokeism, if we want to call it now, is really an escalation of the progressive movement. And what the progressive movement really is that it begins with a real problem. A problem exists, but the movement, progressive, means it must inherently continue to progress. So it starts with a real problem. Then when it fixes that problem, it can't move on. It has to keep, quote unquote, progressing. So what happens is you begin with an issue, then you elevate to overcorrecting that issue, and then you end up adding to the issue and making it worse in the inverse. So I always say the fight for equality has now morphed into overt anti-white racism. The fight for legalizing gay marriage has morphed into the sexual indoctrination of young kids. The idea to crack down on abusive behavior on the internet has morphed into the censorship of political opinions. So all this stuff continues to get worse. Wokeism is really just an escalation of all of that. So it never ends. It keeps going further and further. And I think what you have right now is people who were somewhat previously on board with progressivism, like Chris Rock and Netflix and Russell Brand, saying, no, this has gone way too far. This no longer is a movement. This is cult-like.
You know, I'm getting, as predicted, a lot of pushback in our live chat from a few people who are detractors. They're on the left. They generally participate in the conversation in a respectful way, but they're saying that the term woke is a historical term, and it's something that is rooted in, trying to call out and become more anti-racist. If that is the term that actually exists in history, according to people who are decidedly on the left, has it morphed into something else? And the semantics, man, if there is a way that the woke flexes its muscles, it's through the control of words and vocabulary, isn't it? The idea that what is woke today, it may not be what it was yesterday. They're trying to challenge the fact that what you're saying even actually exists. Can you give me some examples?
Yeah, first of all, they're actually wrong about the woke origin, because I began this conversation by saying that the current iteration of woke actually originated from the idea of like conspiracy theories, like I'm awoken to this possibility. So what woke meant when it was first used is entirely different than it is now. So I think that's one big example to make there. But yeah, language. So a good example is what they did on social media, particularly Twitter. We know a lot of this from Twitter files now, that they were able to normalize sort of wonky ideas like hashtag mask up, and they were the amplifier, put your pronouns in your bio, and they were able to normalize idea and suppress the opposition. So what happens is you have an imbalance where we're being fed that society agrees that this conversation is racist or that this is offensive, but the majority says it's not racist, it's not offensive, but their voice is buried. So that is how woke was able to really infest and spread all throughout the conversation, because corporate leaders look at that, like media and Hollywood, and say, wow, this person is offensive, we better get them out of there. Well, no, that person was offensive to a small radical minority, while the rest of the country, the vast majority, didn't find it offensive at all. So I think that is really what woke is. It gave small people with really no influence, who were just perpetually offended by nature, the ability to dictate decisions made across these influential industries.
We're speaking with Outkick's Bobby Burack right now about woke and the influence that the woke culture has had on our society, on our politics. I think one of the main things also that the woke folks, if you will, have successfully done is they've reset the default. And I often refer to, I don't know if you're familiar with Office Space, but when Jennifer Aniston is in her waitress job and she's miserable, and the manager's always saying, you need to have your 15 pieces of flair on your vest. You have to have 15 pieces of flair to tell everybody who you are. And if you don't have that amount of flair, then the default is that you're not excited to be there, that you're not happy to be there, and so on and so forth. And what woke culture has successfully done is determined if you don't have the stickers on your car, if you don't have the Facebook frame around your profile picture or the correct icons in your Twitter bio or whatever it might be, that the default is that you obviously, even without knowledge, hate a specific group of people. So when you change the default into being hateful towards a group of people, you can really, once you've successfully done that, they're able to change the narrative and force these virtue signaling type policies and programs on corporations, like you said, on different types of community groups and so on and so forth, especially when it comes to politics. Yeah, and a perfect example, that's so well said. About a year ago now, you saw the hashtags trend, I stand with Ukraine, and like, I'm anti-Putin or Putin's Hitler. Well, wait, why do people feel the need to declare that's where they're siding on this? Like, why do you have to say you're against Putin? It's the same thing with the media figures who put anti-racist in their bio. So what that means, like you said, the default is if you're white, you're racist. You have to tell people you're racist or you're not racist by saying you're an anti-racist, and that's entirely backwards. I mean, actually, a guy named Bomani Jones, who follows Bill Maher on HBO, actually made that case 2 weeks ago, saying that white people are by default racist, and they need to prove they're not racist. So I go back to, again, what is woke? It's a mission to replace societal norms with identity, and that is identity by grouping who is racist and who is not, but just assuming that if you're white, you're racist. I mean, this thing has really gone so far that I think what you have is the worst type of peer pressure where people have to buy into this stuff, whether it be in the workplace or online, just to feel like they're not going to be the villain in all this. Because being woke on social media, it gives you a sense of belonging, like you're a part of something cool, that you're going to embark on the right side of history. Well, if you don't do that, you might be accused of all those labels that have come to really be career suicide for so many targets. Bobby Burack, thank you so much for the time today. We look forward to having you back. It's a great issue. It's definitely one that has people talking, and we're glad that you're doing it on Outkick and here on the Andy Frey Show. I appreciate it. Talk soon. Yeah, that sounds great. Bobby Burack. You can follow him on Twitter at BarackBobby_, or you can see him on all of his work at Outkick.com. Let's take a quick break. That YouTube live chat poll is still hopping over there. Have you voted yet? If you had to pick, and you don't in real life, but for our intents and purposes, you do. You have to pick today. Nobody's going to know. Just go vote unless you comment. Hannah's looking for your comments to feature them. Maybe Hannah can come in and read some of these comments. We've got quite a few of them coming in on this poll. If you had to pick, are you Team Trump or Team DeSantis? We'll talk a little bit about that when we come back. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Are we just too scared to fight for what we want tonight? Close your eyes and leave it all behind. Go where love is on our side. It's a trust fall, baby. It's a trust fall, baby.
Well, I'm really happy to tell you that Andrea's has done very well. I mean, COVID is such a tough era to have come out of for basically any business, but especially restaurants. There was so much scrutiny on restaurants in Illinois, of all places, but they're doing great, and that is because of you. It's because you're going to the restaurant in Fairview Heights, Illinois, O'Fallon, Illinois, but you're also buying their steak sauce, their new barbecue sauce, their salad dressing in Deerberg's, in Schnucks. Here's an event for you. I love that they're doing this stuff out of the COVID era. They're just saying, you know what? We're going to start doing bigger events like the Kentucky Derby Social that they're going to have on May 6th. This sounds like a blast, and maybe May 6th seems like it's a long way off, but it's not. It's about a month and a half away. You're talking about heavy buffet-style appetizers, so you're going to get full while you're there. Endless mint juleps they're going to have, and all kinds of other stuff. I'm looking at a list that's a mile long of things that are going on that day for their Kentucky Derby Social. So check them out, and if you can't make it on May 6th, that's okay. Stop by the restaurant sometimes, and you're going to realize realize how great of an atmosphere it is for an event like this, but really for any day or for dinner. Go to Andreas.com to see all of the stuff that I'm talking about right now, and you can get their sauce while you're there. Andreas.com.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lance.drurylaw.com, or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house, and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years, Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO, easy to remember phone number, or go online today at 877-25-RHINO.com. Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Siding Express can totally transform the look of your home by installing Hardy Shake, board and batten, or a stone accent to make it your dream home. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardy contractor. Go to sidingexpress.com to schedule a free, no obligation consultation today.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Warmer days are coming. Time to schedule your annual AC system check for as little as $15 a month. For any residential or commercial HVAC services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Happy anniversary to Bob Stockdale, host of On the Money. This week, On the Money is celebrating 20 years on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Man, if you grew up in this time, this is, oh God, I hate this phrase, but it's right. It's a mood. I'm picking up on things that it's funny when my kids say something and I'm annoyed because it's like what the kids are saying. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, crap, they're saying it on Twitter.
Yeah.
These are the people who I communicate with or am around or partake in. I saw somebody the other day posted, it was somebody who's kind of a peer or something, does what I do, is some sort of politico somebody. And they were probably close to my age, female. And it just said, is bussing a good thing or a bad thing? And I was like, I know this one. It's a good thing. And then they started talking about other phrases, and I was like, I don't know those. It's difficult to keep up with, but it's important because it's important to know what words people are talking about and what they're saying when they say it. You know what I mean? Today's YouTube live chat poll, if you had to pick, are you Team Trump or are you Team DeSantis? Let's see if Hannah can come in and give us a response to some of these comments that are coming in, because we've discussed this on the show somewhat. Are there a lot of people publicly who are openly saying, Brad, you don't have to pick right now, I'm a free agent? I mean, we are.
Publicly?
Yeah.
No. I haven't, like when I think of that, I look at Twitter, people tend to peel into camps.
Do you tend to find yourself going, oh, this is Twitter, this is not the real world? Because I do. I'm more and more.
Yeah, I remind myself of that, especially the more ridiculous it gets.
I'm seeing in the last week, I'm seeing people who are moving into their camps. And I feel as though, and I don't know that this exists right now, should people have to disclose on social media that they are compensated by any particular campaign? I think that they should have. If I am, for instance, if I am being compensated to endorse a product, so there are a lot of places that I work out and get into partnerships with, in business deals with. I use their product, the Prevent Sprain Socks, for instance. That's a new one. I am a user of Prevent Sprain Socks. I tried them out for a few weeks and put them on my kids and let them play basketball with it, and became a big fan of Prevent Sprain Socks. If I weren't endorsing them, I would still use the product. But I have a relationship with them. And if I have Prevent Sprain Socks come in and talk about what they sell on the show, I have to explain to you that they're a sponsor of the show. You have the right, and I have the legal obligation to explain that to you. And that doesn't exist, as far as I know, on social media. So if somebody is out there tweeting on behalf of somebody and they're being compensated for it, does that make a difference to you?
Yeah, because I would like to know if and not saying that if you're sponsored by something that you still can't believe in what you're sponsored by.
For sure.
But I would like to know that there might be a possibility that you're just doing this for money.
Or that maybe the frequency with which you're doing it is compensated. It doesn't mean, if your integrity is intact and I appreciate what you're putting out there and I follow you because I like your take on things, or maybe I don't like your take on things, but I like the way you present it, or maybe you just make me laugh or something like that, and you're putting content out there that I am believing is of your mind and your thoughts, but then there are other tweets that you're being told that you need to tweet out or being paid for, then I am interested in knowing that. It doesn't change the fact that you could still have those thoughts as your own. I would hope that you wouldn't put anything out that wasn't your own thought, regardless of whether you're being paid for it or not. But I don't know that exists right now on the internet, because the FCC regulates what we do here or what would be done on television. The internet's a different thing. So I'm curious about that. But I'm definitely seeing people who might have previously been making comments or observations on social media that might make me think, I think they're Trump people, or I think they're DeSantis people. Now it's starting to be combative and aggressive and frequent.
Yeah, incredibly combative and incredibly aggressive is what I've noticed.
It makes me want to just read Cardinals Twitter. and Disney Twitter, and just kind of go to my own fantasy land. Hannah, what can you tell us? What are people saying so far? Hannah has her headphones on for everybody who's wondering.
I do have my headphones on. Yay.
If you missed it, you're going to want to go back to the 1245 Wickens America.
So today's YouTube live chat poll is asking kind of a spicy question, if you will. If you had to choose right now, would you be Team Trump or Team DeSantis? We have a ton of people leaning into this conversation. Carlo says, I picked Team Trump mainly because I think DeSantis should finish his job in Florida, then kick butt nationwide. Alex says, I chose Trump so that way DeSantis can run next, so we'll have 12 years for the both of them. Hetty says, if I had to pick right now, pencil me in for Team Trump. Kenny says, right now, Team Trump, so we can have 4 more years and 8 years of DeSantis. So far, the common theme is that people enjoy the both of them and want to have as much time as possible.
Here's the takeaway that I have from that, is that just because you prefer one doesn't mean you hate the other. That's where I am.
Yeah.
Brad, that's where I think you've been.
Yeah, for sure.
Any problems voting for Donald Trump in the primary? You said earlier on the show that if you had to pick right now, you consider yourself a free agent, but you would be Team DeSantis.
Yeah.
Trump wins. Are you never Trump?
No. No. As of right now, I would absolutely vote for Donald Trump in a general election. I mean, that's not to say something couldn't happen later on that would change my mind. The same thing goes for DeSantis or whoever wins. It's not to say that something couldn't change my mind later on. But as of right now, I would vote for either one of them every day of the week. And since I live in Illinois, twice on Sunday.
Yeah, since you're Republican, it won't count either time. That's actually what they do in Illinois is they tell the Republicans you get to vote as many times as you want, but you have to do it on Sunday. So I don't want to get to the results yet.
Okay.
Are the people voting?
People are voting and the people are still commenting. We have a lot going on here.
Yeah. Here's how you vote. If you have never voted on a poll before, maybe this is the one you want to. If you go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, Frey, Annie Frey YouTube channel, we broadcast the show live there every day. We've got some exciting things coming soon, some updates, if you will, to our live broadcast. So if you haven't tuned in a while, come say hi today. And in the live chat portion, people are having lively conversation throughout the course of the entire show about whatever it is we're talking about and sometimes things that we're not talking about. The poll at the top of that live chat is different every day. And today's is if you had to pick, are you Team Trump or Team DeSantis? Go vote. Let's get over 200 votes today. I'm hoping that we can get there.
Oh yeah.
Do you have a strong place on this poll?
Not strong, but I did vote in the poll.
What'd you vote?
One way. I voted for DeSantis.
Yeah.
And he is not that he is a candidate right now, but he would be my number one choice over Trump. But I voted for Trump in 2020, and I would vote for him again.
For sure. I'm going to split it this way. I'm 55 DeSantis, 45, get it? Trump. Or maybe I should say I'm 54 DeSantis and 46 Trump. See what 47. Crap. 53, 47. I just completely discounted the Biden presidency. Trust me, he's not even going to know. Stick around. Ryan Wiggins back in the studio when we come back.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. Where do you go for your annual eye health examination? Ophthalmology Associates, of course. Doctors Greg Birdie and Ranjan Malhotra. Dr. Robert Bersati, he's the one I saw. Or Dr. Andrew Royer. They are available to you and are there to take care of all your vision needs at Ophthalmology Associates. They're on Manchester Road, a half mile west of 270. Your vision is their business at Ophthalmology Associates. In fact, many of their patients are doctors themselves. That's why they call themselves the doctors, Ophthalmology Associates. Are your eyes itchy and scratchy? It could be more than just allergies. They're the leaders in dry eye diagnosis and treatment. They're the leaders in LASIK and discussing those procedures. And if you're having difficulty reading or driving at night, you have glare from oncoming headlights, could be early signs of cataracts, and they can talk to you about multifocal lens implants. Ophthalmology Associates, youridoc.com.
So C.A. Jones online at cajonesinc.com, or as I like to say, cajonesinc.com. It's just what it spells. It's just an easy way to remember it, cajonesinc.com. They have over 25 years of home building experience, and they are St. Louis Metro East's largest home builder and military supporter. When you work with C.A. Jones, you are getting that dream home built. And there are so many different accommodations that can be made, and your preferences can be laid out. There are so many different ways that you can make this house your unique home in a neighborhood that you love. C.A. Jones also invests in these communities and works to make sure that the people who are building and establishing and raising up these different communities are going to be set with really, really wonderful places to live as they enjoy their new home. If you're thinking about building in Illinois, you need to contact C.A. Jones. You can do their Design Your Home tool. It's super fun. It's all there online at cajonesinc.com.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
AAMCO.
Start your Amazon business.
Hey everyone, Ryan and Karen Pottinger here.
Because of the wholesale formula, last year we ran our business while we traveled to and lived in 4 different countries.
In 2020, Americans made $50 billion selling on Amazon. Join America's Amazon expert Dylan Frost, where everyone can learn how to start an Amazon business for only $49.99 guaranteed or your money back. 2-hour seminar Tuesday, March 28th at 2 p.m. for the greater St. Louis area. Register at wholesaleformula.com. That's wholesaleformula.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A manhunt for a school shooter in Colorado. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Police in Denver searching for the suspect who opened fire on 2 high school employees.
East High School was placed on lockdown after reports of shots fired.
One is currently in serious but stable condition. The other is currently in surgery, listed in critical condition.
Denver Police Chief Ron Thomas providing an update on the 2 deans shot after a required search of a student turned up a handgun.
He did flee that location where the search was taking place and was able to get out of the school.
As the search continues, parents of East High students confronting Chief Thomas and Mayor Michael Hancock.
No more words. I appreciate it. No more kids marching to your office.
Students from East High skipped class earlier this month to march to Colorado's state capitol to demand stricter gun laws following the death of a classmate shot while sitting in a car near campus.
Fox's Matt Napolitano. Fox's Alicia Acuna has a son, 2 stepsons, and a niece in that school and says parents were not made aware that there was enough concern about certain students to require pat-downs. The Fed chief still says there's a long way to go on inflation.
Inflation remains too high, and the labor market continues to be very tight.
So they're making another quarter-point rate hike even after recent bank failures. Chairman Jay Powell offering reassurance about that.
Our banking system is sound and resilient with strong capital and liquidity. We will continue to closely monitor conditions in the banking system and are prepared to use all of our tools as needed to keep it safe and sound.
He does suggest that possible tightening in credit conditions could help the Fed's inflation-fighting efforts. The grand jury hearing a hush money case against former President Trump is not meeting today after all, now on standby for tomorrow, so no decision yet on a possible indictment in a case that Trump calls a witch hunt. America is listening to Fox News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Windy, warm, and more humid as we go through our Wednesday afternoon with some scattered showers and a couple of thunderstorms. 69 for the high. Tonight, windy, some scattered showers and thunderstorms around. Very humid overnight. 58. Thursday, still unsettled. More rain, a couple of thunderstorms. Windy, warm, and humid. 70 on Thursday. Some heavy rain possible Thursday night and still unsettled on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If you own a home in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or the need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes stlouis.com at 314-782-8000 and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant homes, inherited homes, fixer-uppers, beautiful homes, even the tenant who won't pay the rent apartment. Google us. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, and check out our best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move. according to your schedule and your terms. Go to our website, chrisbuysHomesSt.Louis.com, or call Chris at 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And get the offer you've been waiting for. 314-782-8000.
AirComfortService.com is dedicated and committed to keeping you in your comfort zone. Happy spring. It's very nice to be able to say that. Wish the outside right now in St. Louis would abide by what that feels like. But what is spring in St. Louis? If not, especially at the beginning in March, it's very confused. So your HVAC system is going to be put to the test. We're going to have those weeks where you use your air conditioner and your furnace in the same week. That just happens sometimes in the same day. I've done it before. Maybe you have. Make sure that your HVAC system is in good working order. Have a maintenance plan that you go by monthly, and then they come out and they service the whole HVAC system. If you pay monthly, starting at $15 a month, that 12th month is free. Air Comfort Service is a mainstay in HVAC services, both commercial and residential, in St. Louis. You can trust them to come out and give you the service that you need, the care and the respect that you need, and you'll have them come back again. You'll be recommending them to your friends and family. I'm a customer of Air Comfort Service, and I think you'll appreciate the service that you get, the award-winning service that you get from Air Comfort Service as well. Find them online at aircomfortservice.com.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. Find tools for the job site or your own backyard at over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com.
How might this week's big stories impact your portfolio? Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale with Stifel. Join me and fellow Stifel financial advisor Eric Robert during On the Money every Saturday from 11 till noon right here on 97.1 FM Talk. Stifel, member NYSE and SIPC.
Big ideas, real debate, solid entertainment. You found it here.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're glad that you are with us today. The big news, a couple of big news stories of the day. The Manhattan DA has postponed the Trump grand jury session today, has told him to be on standby tomorrow. So no indictment quite yet. Also, in Colorado, another school shooting. We are watching this news unfold, and we'll give you any details as they are reported. I don't like to spend a lot of time play-by-playing these types of things. It's like, how do you give the appropriate amount of attention to a news story like this without amplifying and really kind of putting it in the light where it becomes entertainment is clearly not the right word. But, you know, what we do here is to entertain. And if I want you glued to your radio, I don't want to do it in a macabre kind of way like that. So we wait for the facts. We tell you what the facts are when they come out, and we will move along with the show. But I want you to know that that is taking place. Hannah is in here. Ryan is in here. And we are talking about influencers. Hannah, how do you feel about you're a bit of an influencer on your Instagram profile?
I don't like the word influencer.
What would you like us to call you instead?
Exfluencer.
Exfluencer.
Yeah, perfect. I do some things on my Instagram.
Do you want to promote it? It's Radio Wiggins.
At Radio Wiggins.
My Instagram is hannah.gibbs. I do some modeling for some local boutiques. I like to do local things and, you know, support their businesses, get their message out there. So I do some things with them. But influencers,
people are going to be shocked when they subscribe to my Twitter and find out that I actually do all the same things.
It's what we're doing at Disney.
That's all we're doing.
Influencers.
I have
just posing.
I have all of these thoughts in my brain already, and I hope that we can execute on some of them. Do you want to shout out any of the places that you model for?
Yes, I do Arch Apparel. I do Bean Boutique. and I do some. That's all. I
Is
will
Bean
say.
Boutique beans?
Nope. Bean
Okay.
Boutique is clothes. Not beans. But yes, I like doing things with those small little companies. Arch Apparel is a little bit bigger, but Bean Boutique is locally owned. I went to high school with the girl, and she's done a really good job building it for herself.
Hannah.Gibbs?
Hannah.Gibbs on Instagram.
All right, you can check that out. Have you ever thought about taking a class?
This isn't your conventional college course.
I think you could have been a lot more direct with the hub, like, let's see if Duke students can do the jerks.
Instead of essays, TikToks. And recording rather than writing. Here at Duke University, students are getting an education in influencing.
Is it crazy to you guys that during a class at Duke, you're making TikTok videos?
Yeah. This is really the only class I've been taking since I've been here where it's like, it's about what's going on right now.
And they're putting their new skills to use.
I gained 33,000 followers since I joined this class.
Oh my goodness.
I just had a TikTok hit 600,000 views.
And you feel it's directly related to how you're doing in this class, what you're learning?
Paying attention to details.
What is trend jumping? Remind us real quick.
The course is called Building Global Audiences, and the 35 students in it collectively have 5 million followers. But the professor, Dr. Aaron Dinnan, believes it's less about going viral and more about building a platform.
This is an actual thing you can study in school.
I knew this was coming.
I just love that woman's read. I want to read whatever she's reading. Give me that copy.
I think that, Ryan, you should do for our YouTube channel some shorts on influencer advice.
I think that you just did a good dramatic pause. That's what I'm talking about. Is you look at the sentence and you say, it's not just about educating, it's about influencing.
Yeah.
You got to have those pauses in there.
I went to school and have a degree in radio.
Exactly.
And so that has caused me to have this massively successful career. Although I would probably add that the servitude that I have been in the radio industry for a lot longer, I don't know that I needed the degree, but I learned things along the way. A lot of it was more about I learned resolve and
you didn't learn how to say not just arithmetic, but tick-tock.
No, I didn't.
Annie, how would you feel if one of your kids, they would not do this, but hypothetically, if they said that they wanted to take this class? What would you say?
I'd tell them to do it. I think that I'd tell them that understanding how to use and the word was going to use manipulate, but yeah, I'm just going to use it because that's what it is. To be able to use the tools that are in front of you when it comes to social media, if you become anything, you can do social media along with it. As I was watching, I'm like, why am I watching this? What am I doing with my time? But I couldn't stop. I didn't stop. I judged myself the entire time. It was a woman. It was an Asian Facebook company that was making wigs. And I don't know, I don't understand what the deal was, but there was a wig laying on a long platform and it was completely wet. The wig was completely wet, super long, and she was making the hair kind of go in a zigzag or something like that. It looked to me like what Elsa's hair from Frozen would look like in a wave, but on a wig, and the hair was black. And I just didn't understand what was going on. And I watched the video like twice or 3 times because I was trying to understand it. And I was like, why am I watching this video? It was of interest to me. That person is not making their living as an influencer, but they're using the tools that are available to them to help them with what they're doing to make a living. So I see the asset in it. You are making a living here, Hannah, on the radio. And you are somebody who has gotten your associate's degree. You've found yourself a job, hopefully one that you like.
Love it.
On 97.1 here on the Annie Frey Show. But you're also doing influencer type things on the side. I want to know what you think about this.
I think that this influencer class could be beneficial, especially to those who, like, you can use those skills in other places. Like if you're working in marketing, I think this would be great for you. You could learn things in this class that you could apply to your job elsewhere. I do think that this is the future. Something that scares me, like if I wanted to be just an influencer, what happens when these social media sites crash?
Mm-hmm.
What happens then? But I do think that it is pretty useful in some ways. I think the part of influencing that I don't like is people they're pretty selfish and they think that their message is the only message, and you can get pretty wrapped up with yourself in it. So that is a part of influencing that I don't like. But
what do you use, Brad, the internet for outside of politics? Because you certainly use a lot of social media for the benefit of this show, to prepare for the show, which you did before you were ever on the show, which was one of the reasons why I sought you out to be the executive producer of the show when you had exactly zero radio experience, because I knew that you were in the lane.
Mm-hmm.
What other things outside of news and politics, what are your niche things that you're using the internet for, maybe YouTube or Twitter? Where do you go?
So I love using Twitter for Cardinals Twitter to watch baseball, sports in general, like the World Baseball Classic Twitter was awesome.
Fun.
I would dive into that a lot. NASCAR Twitter, so sporting events and stuff like that. I like to watch history videos on YouTube. There's a couple that channels that I really like. One is The History Guy, which he takes 15 minutes and tells a great historical story that's just kind of off in the weeds. And then I also like Simple History because it takes a very big subject and puts little animations to it and tells jokes.
Like
and
the
stuff
Cliff Notes.
Oh, it's hilarious, but it's historically accurate. So I like stuff like that. And then just cars in general. If I can find YouTube videos about any sort of classic car, kit cars, any of these things, love to watch those videos.
Ryan, any areas of the internet that you enjoy that help you with a hobby that you're into, or learning things that are outside of what we normally talk about on the show?
On Facebook, I just keep up with friends I've had in my life. But outside of that, on Twitter, I follow, I don't want to just say comedians because that sounds like stand-up comedians, but it includes stand-up comedians and comedian writers and just people who are in the industry of comedy specifically, who come up with weird takes on things. And sometimes it's on politics and current events, and a lot of times it's on whatever. And I wouldn't be able to do that as easily without something as dumb as Twitter.
So since we're kind of the sandwich generation between like the boomers and I wonder is Gen X to Gen Z what the boomers are to the millennials? Okay, boomer was a young people's way to respond to the old people, and the old people are like, yeah, but millennials, you're worthless trash.
Yeah.
That was my perception of it as a millennial.
Except that boomers would say, oh, you guys, you don't know what you're doing. And they would get cranky about it. Gen X is just like, I don't care.
Well, but I mean, but not 100%. Gen X is always, as much as they don't care, they really care that everybody knows that they don't care.
That's exactly
true.
right.
I mean, do you know what I'm saying about that? Gen X is much more chill about everything than the other generations that are out there, at least on the whole, I think. But it's at the same time, they do have to let you know that. So it's a little bit of irony there. But it's interesting to think about Gen Z, which is Hannah's generation, that Gen X is really the boomers to Gen Z, that one sandwich generation. And I look at influencers and how annoying, like you said, Hannah, to begin with, how annoying this idea of influencers are. Like, to aspire to be an influencer is bizarre.
I can't believe that we're here, but we are.
But for a second, let's step outside of the obvious knee-jerk reaction of being annoyed by it. Isn't there value to the future of culture to embracing it in the context of how it serves society versus how a lot of influencers, the annoying ones, Hannah, get into it to serve themselves, to put the spotlight on themselves?
Yeah.
Yes.
I do think there's benefit in that. And
Yes.
let me say that I have been influenced. I've been influenced in many ways from people on social media. I've learned, like, Brad, I think you follow some fitness accounts too. I've been influenced with stuff from there. I've been influenced from some beauty things. And maybe I myself have influenced people. So overall, it's not necessarily a bad thing. There is that bad selfish side, but there is some benefits with it.
Fitness and beauty, Ryan. So your main hobbies.
Well,
your
it seeks
favorites?
me out.
Who are your favorite influencers?
Anybody with the last name Jenner.
Did you mean Kardashian?
No.
Okay.
No, I am a fiercely anti-Kardashian. I'm in the Jenner camp.
Is that a thing?
I think there's lots of Jenners, aren't there?
Just Caitlyn.
As somebody who is an avid follower of it.
Oh, you're talking about the famous Jenners. No.
Oh, you're talking about the Collinsville Jenners.
Yeah, the Collinsville Jenners.
I did not know this. I'm sorry. I stand corrected.
Yeah. No,
They're great.
Yeah. Oh, they've got a ton of land. Love their stuff. Love their stuff.
I'm going to find out later if they're, I don't know, maybe my kids go to school with some
I don't know.
Okay, well, here's where I want to go with this. Tell me if, get it together. Get it together.
Okay.
Those Collinsville Jenners.
When it comes to influencers, tell me if James O'Keefe here, if it's any different.
Where, Jack, you can actually go on there and for $1,000, you can actually sponsor a camera, one of our special cameras that we will put into the hands of the willing, because there have been probably 5,000 people that have emailed me over the last month that want to basically do what I do. So now I'm going to basically create Uber for citizen journalism and get the cameras out where they need to go.
James O'Keefe gets kicked out of Project Veritas, the organization that he created. There's a lot of drama behind how he treated people there and how he spent money. I don't know what the details are. I don't really care to involve myself in that process, but I do know that Project Veritas has done amazing work, that James O'Keefe is the father of Project Veritas. He gets bounced from being the president or whatever or the CEO of Project Veritas, and he creates O'Keefe Media Group, which is also OMG, and that's his new organization. And what he's doing is establishing education for and provision for people who, even like you, Ryan Wiggins, who could become a citizen journalist through OMG. He's showing people how to do this. Is this the same thing with a different flavor of social media influencers?
Yes. That's why I was like reluctantly saying yes to what you're saying, is that when you present it as we have many times and said, oh, somebody wants to become an influencer, that is super lame. Don't ever say, I want to become an influencer, please. But if there's a class that says generating global audiences, it's basically the same thing, but it sounds regal and appropriate. And you're like, oh, maybe I would partake.
Wouldn't you like to see James O'Keefe's venture here be successful?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes. I mean, that's what college is supposed to be, is training you to do things. It has veered away from that. So now you have people like this that are actually doing it.
College is supposed to manufacture employees and employers. Instead, we manufacture activists now on the whole. And you think about, like I said, I have a 4-year college degree from SIUE. As we know, I'm a cougar, and that's been established. And in that sense, and only red, black, and white.
Fierce.
Fierce cougar. And anywho, I appreciate the fact that I have a degree. I'm proud of the fact that I have a degree. Could I be doing what I'm doing right now without that degree? I think I probably could be. I don't think that it's certain. Nobody has ever looked at me and said, well, you do have a degree. That's not ever been the case in this industry. In other industries, certainly it's going to be very important. It shows a commitment to start something, to study something, to broaden your educational horizons, and to finish something. I think that's valuable, and I think it should still be celebrated. But the idea that we are out there creating journalists to go out and seek truth and expose truth is not the purpose of our mass communication education systems today. And is there a wide open lane for people right now that exists because of social media to become somebody who is going to expose truth when it comes to any given different subject, whatever is of interest to you? I actually think that this is a really, really good thing, and I'm interested to see where it goes.
I am too. Whether or not James O'Keefe is going to accomplish the goal that he's stating he wants to do, I don't know, because he is a showman. And so he could be putting on a show to create more.
But he's been successful before.
But he's done it. And so if he wants to try to do this, and maybe it even spawns others like this, I do think it's a good thing.
Brad, you like it?
I do. I think it was Andrew Breitbart that said that if you have a camera and you're on scene, you're a journalist. And I like the idea of not having a journalist class, but again, it's just the people going out and reporting what they're seeing. And I think that's what you get with what he's talking about. there he was talking about, like, sponsoring a camera. So you sponsor the camera, the hidden camera goes to somebody that's saying, hey, I'm willing to go undercover for this to get this story, to get this scoop. I think that's a great way of going about it.
Well, let us know what you think on the YouTube live chat. You can go vote in the YouTube live chat poll as well. If you had to pick, are you Team Trump or are you Team DeSantis? Go vote. And there's nothing binding about this, although highly scientific, on what our audience is going to say. Hannah's going to read those results at the end of the show. Stick around. We got more Annie Frey show right around the corner. You're not going to want to miss the next conversation that we are going to have. Are you paying attention? Are you paying attention to specifically the Ron DeSantis interview with Piers Morgan? Is this something that is of interest to you? Or maybe it's super annoying and you're just putting it off and you'll get to it when you get to it. Your votes in that conversation in just a minute. Don't go away.
Man, I gotta have her. She's a one of a kind. I'm going once, going twice. I'm sold. A lady in the second row. She's an 8, she's a 9, she's a 10. I know she's got ruby.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show.
About to bid my heart goodbye. Where the auctioneer.
So Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, Tammy Kershaw, the Retirement Advisory Group are committed to helping you walk through where you are right now as you see retirement. It's right around the corner. Last night we had a great event at the Frontenac Hilton. Make sure the next time we have one of those that you sign up and get your spot reserved early. You sit down and you listen to how he works with you, but he's going to sit down and listen to where you are right now. If you're 59 and a half or older, it's a very important age to make sure that you're making safe preparedness plans for the retirement that you've saved up for, that you've sacrificed for. I understand right now at 38 what it means to set aside and to sacrifice in order to provide for yourself later, but I'm 20 years away from where you might be thinking about how retirement is knocking at your door. You want to make sure that everything that you've worked for in a downturned economy isn't going to go poof and go away. Thomas Helbig is there to make you feel comfortable, to show you exactly what you need to do and how he can help you have a worry-free retirement. If you would like to set up a conversation with him where there's no obligation at the end of that conversation, you just sit down and listen to what he has to say. You got to call 314-993-9494. Call 314-993-9494 and get that conversation scheduled today. You can find him online at retirementkey.com.
Finding great people to hire is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's pretty difficult, right? Well, ZipRecruiter has mastered finding a needle in a haystack, so they take it to the next level. They make hiring so simple that it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. And that's why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Here's what it's like to use ZipRecruiter. They have so many qualified candidates that it's easier to find the right ones for your roles. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's a lot of needles. So how do they do it? ZipRecruiter's powerful technology sends you candidates who are a great match for your job, and you can even invite your top choices to apply. So if you want less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
It's March, and that can mean only one thing. The madness is here. Not in front of a TV on game day? Listen to every round of NCAA March Madness live from Westwood One, free in the Odyssey app. Catch all the biggest moments of the tournament, no matter where you are. From Cinderella's,
A 15 seed will head to the Elite Eight.
to buzzer beaters,
Atkinson scores. 1.4 seconds left.
to champions.
For the 4th time.
It's time to go dancing. Download the Odyssey app today to get started.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet store. Do you have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning because of a sharp pain in your heel?
I did. I had plantar fasciitis. I had a burning sensation on the bottom of my feet. I went to the Good Feet store, and what a relief. And now I never go without my Good Feet support.
Are your knees and back killing you by the end of the day?
It was getting so severe I almost stopped walking. I have no problems with my knees now. I couldn't believe how fast it helped me.
You deserve a better life too. Come to the Good Feet store today.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway or in Shiloh, Illinois across from Dearborn's.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Pain relief and comfort to fit any budget. Come in for a free test walk today. Good Feet products are proudly made in the USA.
Siding Express can totally transform the look of your home by installing Hardy Shake, board and batten, or a stone accent to make it your dream home. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardy contractor. Go to sidingexpress.com to schedule a free no-obligation consultation today.
Want to listen to 97.1 outside the listening area? There's an app for that. Download the Odyssey app, and one tap will turn the station on. The Odyssey app for 97.1 FM Talk.
Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories. And the memories bring back your. There's a time that I
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Fox News reports the Federal Reserve today raised its benchmark interest rate by a quarter of a point, forging ahead with its fight against stubborn inflation despite a spate of bank failures and a growing crisis within the financial sector. Remember when the banks failed that last week?
Oh, yeah, I think I do now that you say that. They had to do this. This was exactly what they had to do because they were saying they were going to do by half a point, 0.5. And they couldn't do nothing because that would indicate to everybody that, ooh, this bank failure was too much. So they had to cut it right down the middle.
Man, there's so much going on. And there's a lot of talk about Trump and his indictment, as there should be. I don't feel like it's a non-story. And if it sucks all the oxygen out of the room, I understand why it would. The people who pull the levers on the left, especially in the FBI, were so concerned about how a conversation like this Hunter Biden laptop would affect an election in October of 2020 that they told Twitter, you're not even allowed to, you need to watch out for this and make it go away. It's Russian disinformation. We are so far away from just being able to report truth, and it hurts who it hurts. The truth is what it is. And if it's out there and it isn't for your guy on the right or on the left, it just is. Nobody is flawless. Nobody is perfect. You're never going to have a scenario where the person who is the leader of the free world is completely absent of any type of flaw or concern or crisis, minor or big. Do people on the left right now really feel better off than where they were when President Biden got elected? I'm not talking about the alternative of if it were Trump, because I understand and I respect the idea that Trump's policies versus Biden's policies, what a Republican president versus what a Democrat president, if you don't have the same goals in mind and you're not a fan of the same policies, that obviously, if Donald Trump were elected and he weren't Trump, he was just there to put the policies in place and just kind of serve as the representative in the Oval Office, but then the party kind of takes over and takes control and runs things, if that was something that could possibly happen. Is it really true that of all of the Democrats who could be doing the job of Joe Biden right now, that this is the one that the Democrats want? Who's making that case honestly?
I think about 25% of the country really believes that. I think that there are real people who are so, it's really not about the evidence of the policies or what's going on around them. They just love the messaging. They love feeling vindicated that they made the right decisions and that they're going to continue to make the right decisions and that everything is a little calmer than it was, at least in message.
But you're comparing everything to Trump.
No, I'm not. I'm saying that they think that this is good, that they think that this was going to be worse and that Biden actually made it better. He gave us the soft landing we needed.
I don't think that's still 24% of 25% of those people, in my opinion, are articulating that because Trump. Brad, you think?
That's kind of what I'm hearing. It's like if they're thinking it could have been worse, they're thinking if Donald Trump would have been elected.
Well, I'm comparing this to other Democrats. I think they think there's a percentage of people who actually think that Biden did.
1/4 of the people think that Joe Biden is the best they got.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know about a fourth. I think that they're definitely supporters of him. In their heart of hearts, maybe it's a smaller percentage of the people, but they still think, man, this is the guy. He did a good job, because they're just completely blind to the things going on around them.
I don't know how. I don't understand how you can look at banks failing, inflation at 6-something%, shortages, train derailments, wars, failures of withdrawals, and go, maybe we made a mistake.
Well, I think the majority is saying that.
But I think it's a lot larger majority than what you're giving. I think maybe there's 1% of the people that honestly they sit down at night and go, this isn't great. Now, I think that they, with the comparison to Trump thing, I think they will still take this to Trump, because I don't know. I don't understand that. Anyway, he's literally Hitler or something. I don't know. But I think that there's maybe 1% that are honestly looking at this and saying, this is good. This is nice. This is what we wanted. And I think the rest of them are looking around going, man, it's getting expensive to go to the grocery store. I think people, again, that doesn't necessarily mean they're ready to vote for a Republican, but I don't think that they look at Biden and say, he's our best guy.
What percentage of them do you think Biden is? He's the guy.
Of Democrats or just of America? The percentage of Democrats who think Biden is like really like he was the best option and we chose him and thank God we did. I'll say of Democrats, still about 20%.
I think it's about 7 people total.
I just think that there are people who they really aren't going to look objectively at anything. They're just going to buy whatever's sold. And that's the people that I'm talking about.
An engineer, poet, Cuban-American, Richard Blanco, returned to a poem he wrote from the second inaugural of Burack and me. A poem, one today, says, and always one moon like a silent drum tapping at every rooftop and every window on every country. Let me start this over again. I'm getting so intimidated by being here. And always one moon like a silent drum tapping on every rooftop and every window of one county. All of us facing the stars. Hope, a new constellation waiting for us to map it, waiting for us to name it together. That's what hope is. I was once asked by Xi Jinping to define America for real. We were in the Tibetan Plateau. I said possibilities, hope.
I don't understand how that could possibly 1 in 5 Democrats be like, that's the guy. It's not even. It's not funny to me. It's really sad. And in the world we live in right now, it's scary to think that he is in a position. There were moments where on foreign policy, Barack Obama, he had a lot of things that he did in foreign policy that were not great. I've talked about this. I'm in chapter 7 or something of Mike Pompeo's book. And so it's very heavy on global issues and how things went down and talking to different world leaders and all of the posturing that goes on both sides of the coin and how you always present yourself. There is so much discussion from Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, former CIA Director Mike Pompeo. There is so much discussion and thought into the nonverbals that go into managing American foreign policy and the same way these foreign leaders manage their foreign policy. Pompeo talks about how Angela Merkel with Germany was going to go meet Vladimir Putin. And Putin knew that she had a fear of dogs. Mm-hmm. So he brought his dog to the meeting. He doesn't bring his dog to meetings, but he brought it to that one. It's just a presence of an animal at a meeting that he knew would indicate a vibe or a feeling or a mood towards the leader and speaker for Germany in that meeting. That is a nonverbal thing that a guy like Vladimir Putin does a lot of. There was an instance where he was supposed to meet, or one of the people of the Putin delegation or something was supposed to meet with Pompeo, and they made Pompeo sit and wait for 30 minutes or something, and it was inappropriate. It was purposeful.
Mm-hmm.
And Pompeo said, put me on a plane. I'm going home. I'm not doing this. He doesn't get to do this to me. And then they go into the orchestration of returning Pompeo home or letting Putin go. You've pushed the limits too far. He's done. He's out. He's leaving you. Putin walks out right after that phone call was made. It's all posturing. Does the president's behavior, his abilities, the concerns that people have about him, the concerns that the Democrats themselves have to him, the way he presents himself, does it matter that he's not able to project an element of strength? Not because of his age, but just because of his abilities.
Yes. Unequivocally, that matters. It doesn't have to, but because if you have a kind of a milquetoast president, you can kind of get by. But he's doing so far the opposite of that. Even if he was doing average, I think he'd get by with it. But he is projecting complete incompetence. Everybody knows it. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on.
I don't know that nobody on a foreign policy standpoint believes that Joe Biden is dictating foreign policy. For an effective foreign policy strategy, you have to have somebody at the end of the line saying yes or no, the final authority. That's not what they have here. They have this foreign policy is foreign policy by committee. You see it all the time, and you see it in the disarray that comes out of it. It's because Joe Biden isn't capable of managing the foreign policy. And so whenever you think about a Vladimir Putin or a Xi Jinping, and they're looking over at the United States, they said, if we do this here right now, there will be so much disarray in that administration that they won't be able to react to it. And people are like, well, look at how good they're doing in Ukraine. It's, yeah, but look what happened in Ukraine. How long did it take the Biden administration to get its stuff together, to get a strategy? And we still don't even know what their end game is outside of Russia loses. I mean, do you remember them sending a message to Zelensky saying, we can fly you out tonight? And he said, I don't need a flight. I need I need ammunition or something like that. The Biden administration's initial plan in Ukraine was to get Zelensky out and let it go.
Zelensky, yeah. To get the leader out, to save his butt.
That was it.
Good on Zelensky for saying no. I'm going to stay here and defend my country. The only reason why I want to have that discussion is because the poll for today is, if you had to pick, are you Team Trump or Team DeSantis? It's very important to remember that regardless of which team you are on in this poll, come the general election, in my opinion, there's no way that you can be on Team Trump and not be Team DeSantis if DeSantis wins that primary. And there's no way that you can be on Team DeSantis and not immediately translate to Team Trump if he wins that primary. And I'll add in Nikki Haley and Vivek Ramaswamy and John Bolton and Mike Pompeo and Tim Scott and anybody else who decides to get in that race. Especially if it's Joe Biden. I don't think that the future is bright for the United States of America if that remains the direction this country goes. So it's okay to have the primary discussion right now. We have to have it. It's part of the process. It's a very important part of the process. The vetting of who you want to send into battle. Choose your warrior. Send them in to beat the other guy. Whoever wins that primary, the Republican Party is going to have to unite behind and support so that we protect what we ultimately all protect, is that America First mentality that needs to be restored in the White House. Because right now it is America last. We're going to take a quick break. Hannah's going to come in with the results of today's YouTube live chat poll. Go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and vote. If you had to pick, and we know that you don't actually have to pick right now, but in the poll, just for the sake of today in conversation, are you Team Trump or are you Team DeSantis? We'll be right back.
Everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts someday. But everything gon' be alright. Gonna raise a glass and say, here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish.
Stewart's American Mortgage is a phone call away, a text away even. This is Stewie's personal cell phone. He carries it with him. You send him that message right now, and he can help you with a bagel loan. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Reach out to Stewie and discuss how he can help you make you the most competitive buyer for the home that you are seeking out. The bagel loan works so that you secure your mortgage, you get pre-approved, and you use the bagel loan, and then you don't pay anything in fees that other lenders out there will charge you for. This is a really, really smart economic move for yourself, especially in a climate right now where every time you can make that smart economic move, you need to do it. Stewie will walk you through the process. He'll explain to you exactly how the bagel loan works. And when you call him or text him, you're going to understand how he has a dedication, a commitment to doing business the old-fashioned way. You work with him and you get the job done. 314-324-4440. Call or text 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
With inflation on the rise, you may be charging more to your credit card. But be careful. That increased debt can cause your credit score to suffer.
Don't get stuck with a low credit score and a mountain of high-interest credit card debt. Call Golden Oak Lending now.
Refinance with our low rates to wipe out your high-interest credit card debt and put extra cash in your pocket. Call 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
NMLS 114937.
There are a lot of smart business people out there making smart decisions by getting Rhino Shield. The latest one, the Central Illinois Care Services, they have decided to go with Rhino Shield on the outside of their building so they won't have to worry about maintenance from now on. The list is long. Joe's Tire out in Sullivan, Stonehill Wineries in Herman, they've all got Rhino Shield on their buildings. You can have it on your business or your house. Just call 877-25-RHINO. Let Darren come out and give you a free estimate as to what it would cost to get this great product on your home. 25-year transferable warranty, 100% waterproof, 8 to 10 times thicker than paint, and as a satisfied customer, 15 years in, I can tell you it looks as good as the day they put it on. You're going to love Rhino Shield. Call them right now. Tell them you heard about it on the Mark Cox Morning Show. Again, 877-25-RHINO or 877-25RHINO.com.
Heroes Care is celebrating 20 years on March 28th with the grand opening of the Mission Depot. Annie Frey here. If you have served since World War II, Heroes Care wants to give you more than $300 in thank you gifts. Learn more at 971talk.com/care. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gsl-honorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
There's a huge Supreme Court election in Wisconsin that might be a precursor to next year's presidential election. We'll talk about that Wednesday afternoon.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. A very lively YouTube poll today on the YouTube live chat. If you haven't gone yet, you have until the end of the show to vote. If you had to pick, are you Team Trump or Team DeSantis? At the beginning of this hour, we talked about influencers and how influencing has infiltrated the journalism world. And I encourage you to go back and rewind on the Odyssey app to 205. You can listen to us discuss that and how Hannah is our very own influencer here. Hannah.Gibbs on Instagram.
Hannah.Gibbs on Instagram.
And you can see some of the places that she works with there. Hannah.Gibbs. Go follow her. I haven't asked you this, Ryan, yet. If you had to pick, are you Team Trump or Team DeSantis?
Since I have to pick.
Yes.
I am still going to stick currently with Donald Trump.
Does he not change his answer every single time?
Every time.
I don't
Every
think
time.
I've gone
No.
over to DeSantis. I've
And-
said that
and
I'm
it-
still a free
no,
agent.
No. It always starts with I'm going to stick with my gut here, and then it changes every time.
I don't think so. I think I've been fairly consistent. Maybe once I said, I'm starting to see the DeSantis side of things, which I still do, which is why this is a hard choice. But
Brad.
I think for the most part, I've been pretty consistently still in the Trump camp.
You've been consistent, just not how you think.
Consistently inconsistent.
Well, today,
When you-
since I have to answer that question.
When you said I'm gonna stay with my gut or whatever however you just phrased it there, I had no idea what you were gonna say.
Well, I can't control your feelings or emotions. All I can say is the way that I am feeling right now.
It's not my
which
feelings
is,
or emotions.
Which is objectively, I am feeling toward Trump.
Why? Go ahead.
There's a lot of reasons why I would still like to pick him to be president. But in a primary, honestly, this is very practical. One of the reasons that I would still pick Trump is that, and this is a terrible reason to pick him, but it is a reason.
Are you picking him to win or are you supporting him?
In the primary,
No, in this conversation right now.
between Trump and DeSantis, I'm picking Trump to win between the two.
Who are you voting for?
Who are you supporting? This is not who. If you're on Team Trump, then you're pulling for him to win.
Yes,
That's what you're doing.
pulling for Trump.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I could be on Team DeSantis, but assume that Trump is going to win the
Gotcha.
primary. So
Gotcha.
I'm asking you, whose team are you on? Whose jersey would you wear if you had to pick one?
Okay, so Trump, and it's very
This is where he
practical.
changes to DeSantis.
Yeah, because I really like DeSantis. No, because I'm afraid that if we splinter now, that there are going to be too many people who jump ship if Trump isn't the nominee. That might doom the candidate in the general. I don't know that that's true. I hope that it's not true.
So because you believe that Donald Trump would be the most likely to splinter the party should he not win, you give him your support.
That's one reason, and that's the reason that I'm outlining today. Yes. There are other reasons that I like Donald Trump, but that's the one that was the deciding factor today.
What are the other reasons?
That I think that he will have a team in place going into this administration that will be much stronger than he did in 2016.
That's a tough standard to beat.
Yeah, right. But I think that he, having been there, knows exactly what needs to be done on day one. And so this will be a 4 years that's highly productive. Not that DeSantis couldn't have a highly productive 4 years or 8, but I do believe that that's true of Trump. And I believe still that Trump cannot be bought. And I like that. Don't love every way that he spent his campaign finance money, but I do believe that he can't be bought by lobbyists or special interests.
What has Ron DeSantis done that makes you feel like he could be bought?
Nothing really. It's not that DeSantis can be bought. It's that Trump for sure is independently wealthy. DeSantis is still...
He's not
independently wealthy.
No, he's not.
And so there are temptations that come with that I don't think that he has necessarily failed in.
You just feel like Trump has proved himself more.
He's done it. He's proved that he cannot be... I mean, he's been there. He's done it. He's already showed that he can do it.
I feel as though, and I'm going to play devil's advocate with anybody who I have this conversation with, but while Trump may not be persuaded by money, I sometimes wonder if he gets his feelings hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And that colors
that's
his
enough.
decisions.
I think
right?
so. I think he wants to be popular. He wants to be liked. He wants to be loved. So if you're going to go after Donald Trump and you're going to influence him, you're going to have to go ego influencing.
In some ways, that might be easier than money.
I mean, you gotta be in the room with him already, though. You can't really buy your way into the room with
I
him
don't know that you do. To offend him?
to get on his team, to be a part of his inner circle and make decisions with him.
Okay, I don't know what we're talking about now.
Well, I would say to influence. I would point to Kim Kardashian. She wasn't in the room or anything,
Of
but
the Jenner Kardashians?
yeah, the Jen, yeah,
Of the
Jen-
Collinsville Kardashians.
Different, yeah. Just what a coincidence.
But she had that project she wanted to get done, and so she used her influence, and I think it was through Kanye at the time, and she got into the room, and then they passed that. What was I forget what it was? They passed that, and that was because she got
First
in there and
Step
talked
Act?
about it. Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, Donald Trump loves celebrity. And the criticisms that you're leveling against him are true.
I'm just saying that when you say that he wouldn't be influenced by money and being bought, I think he'd be very influenced by other things.
He could be influenced by influencers.
Ron DeSantis is, like Hannah.
Yeah. Which is why we're trying to pump up our Instagram today. We want to get in the room.
Hannah.Gibbs on Instagram. People, fill that follower count up. Hannah.Gibbs. We're getting into the White House. MAGA, 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 or something. I don't
Trump
know.
2024.
No. She just pretty much models clothes, does so beautifully. You should buy them and make Hannah a wild success. But I do look at Ron DeSantis, and there are a lot of unknown quantities about him. And so you don't know. It's like Donald Trump is the devil you know. And Ron DeSantis, to me, has a magnificent scoreboard and track record in Florida, and he can run on that. How do you do that against Donald Trump? Donald Trump is larger than life. Both of them better than Joe Biden. Go ahead.
Oh, man, we have so many comments. I wish we had more time. All right, the poll is asking, if you had to pick, are you Team Trump or Team DeSantis? With over 260 votes, 54% of the people say they are Team DeSantis.
Wow, it's pretty close.
54% of the people said DeSantis.
That's a dead heat to me.
And 46% of the people say Team Trump. And we had 263 votes so far. So many comments. I wish I could get to all of them. TJ says, if the choice is Trump or DeSantis, I would have to choose Trump without the baggage, a.k.a. DeSantis.
Oh, kind of a twist there.
Wild ride.
Had us in the first half.
Really helped America. He deserves 4 more years. Master from Twitch said Trump earned his 4 more years. He was the hardest working person on the planet
during COVID.
Short boss.
Maybe save one person who was the governor of Florida. Anywho.
Short boss from YouTube said,
Hey, short boss.
What's up?
You're new.
Ryan?
No.
I will not vote for DeSantis. He needs more training.
Hannah from the top rope.
Bob
Everybody's got
Tadu
jokes.
says, I voted DeSantis. He's got everything I like about Trump, being a fighter, but without the negatives. I think he's smarter and more disciplined, and it helps that he's a lawyer himself. Sheepdog says, I'm Team Trump. DeSantis has a long future ahead of him. He will be president someday. Trump deserves a second chance. Just my opinion.
I always am interested in that word deserves.
I know you are.
I just want him to earn it again.
I am okay with somebody saying they think he deserves it.
Sure.
I'm even okay sometimes with Trump thinking he deserves it. They just can't tell me that I have to vote for him because he deserves it.
That they own your vote.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't owe him.
Yeah.
Larry says Team Trump. I just want him to act more professional. I think that's a common theme for a lot of people.
Gonna have to, he's not gonna change.
No, he's not.
It's not gonna happen. That's for better or for worse. Yeah. I mean, that's his upside is his downside. It's just part of the package.
Carl from Chesterfield says, what's most important...
Carl from Chesterfield!
He's on our team.
Hi, Carl!
Hi, Carl.
He's
We know
great.
you.
What's most important is that one of them will win. Trump energizes too many people to vote against him. I think that DeSantis is more likely to win. So that is his reason for voting
That
DeSantis.
is a principled reason to support DeSantis that doesn't talk... I mean, has anybody here talked about, I like Trump's policies more than DeSantis's policies? It's never part of the conversation.
Not really. I mean, I was hitting on certain things that I think are policy related, but they're not necessarily policies.
There are no major policy differences between those two.
Not much.
All right, we're up to 265. 55% of the people are voting DeSantis over Trump.
I will say that with that many votes in today's poll, that I consider that to be a wash.
Mm-hmm.
Statistically within the margin of error, which is all bologna sausage because this is a YouTube poll.
I take polls very seriously. As
I know you do. He's going to go on Fox News tonight with these polls.
That's right.
On Tucker Carlson and be like, well, from the Annie Frey Show YouTube page.
Newsboy hat, rolled up sleeves.
We already
crooked
recorded
tie.
it this afternoon. If it doesn't air, it's because he got cut.
That's the only reason. It's the only possible explanation. Stick with us. Maybe tomorrow's poll is, if you are Team Trump, will you support Team DeSantis and vice versa?
I like it.
Come on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. We'll put that poll up here for tomorrow's video in just a few minutes, so don't go away. The Mark Reardon Show up next.
So
If you want to see better in the new year, there's no better time to call Brinton Vision than right now. Mark Cox here. My friends at Brinton have everything you need to get the crisp, clear vision you've always wanted. Call them at 314-375-2020 or go online today to brintonvision.com. They are the only team in Missouri to perform all 7 FDA-approved forms of vision correction. That includes modern LASIK, permanent contact lenses, and if you have bad reading vision, they even have treatments for you too. So stop throwing your money away. My wife got lens replacement. She sees perfectly these days, and she loves it. Quit putting it off. If it's standing in your way of achieving your goals